2019 to 2021, and staff has requested that the item be moved to be heard prior to public hearing 4.1.
All right, so there's a request from staff that we to move forward item 5.1 before item 4.1. May I have a motion? All right, we have a motion and second to move item 5.1 forward before item 4.1. There is a motion and second on the floor. Vote please.
That motion carried 5-0 to move item 5.1 before 4.1.
Thank you so much. Next we have special, and anything else from Mr. Clerk?
No, that's it.
Thank you. Next we have special presentation. First one, certificate of commendation to Westminster Police Officer Training Azaria. Officer Azaria had a last minute conflict and is unable to be here this meeting, but we will take this opportunity to honor her in the next meeting. So next item for special presentation will be proclamation declared drowning prevention awareness. So do we have any representative from OCA? Okay, so may I ask our member of council to join me for proclamation. Proclamation Drowning Prevention Awareness, May to October 2019. Whereas drowning is the cause of death and disability in California for children under 5 years of age. Whereas roughly 1/3 of drowning victims in Orange County are age 15 older. Patient likelihood of dying from the jury. Whereas Orange County Fire Authority and Orange County Health Care Agency convened the Orange County Task Force on Drowning Prevention to educate the community on ways to prevent drowning. Whereas fatal and non-fatal drowning is a silent event occurring as little as 2 inches of water, including swimming pool, spa, lake, ocean, any other body of water. Whereas the theme of this year's water says you can always wash your child around water and have a swim along. The information that will be provided by staff on what Orange County residents can do to prevent drowning. Whereas initiatives and for an ABC of water safety program will increase public awareness regarding proper procedure to prevent this needless tragedy. And whereas the Orange County Fire Authority, in collaboration with Orange County Task Force on drowning prevention, will be taking this opportunity to increase public awareness about drowning prevention through the Those Community Outreach campaign. Whereas OCA will launch in 24 Water Safety campaign in May and continue to October. Now, therefore, I treat Mayor City Westminster on behalf of Vice Mayor Kimberly Ho, Council Member Sergio Contreras, Tài Đỗ, and Chi Nguyễn, do hereby proclaim City Westminster participation in drowning prevention awareness campaign that begins in May and continue to October, and encourage all families, parents, residents, school, recreational facilities, businesses, and homeowner associations to become partners in preparedness by increasing knowledge about proper safety measures from prevention. Okay, so here is proclamation of City Westminster.
Mayor Don and Council, I'd like to thank you for recognizing this important safety campaign. In 2017, over 100 of our Orange County residents were involved in drownings. And this is something that we can all actively play a part in by, as Mayor Tom mentioned, just protecting, never swimming alone, and always watching the water, especially with the children. So I appreciate you recognizing it. Thank you. Look forward to a safer summer this year. Thank you.
All right, next we have oral communication. Before I open oral communication, I'd like to announce that so no one really surprised. So I really need your cooperation so we can have the meeting in order. So I need your really respect each other. So I want to remind you twice. If I see anyone, I'll try to disrupt the meeting. And after my two warning, if any of you will continue to do that, so I will have to ask this officer to remove that person from my chamber. All right? City Clerk.
This is the time of the meeting that members of the public may address the City Council regarding any items on the agenda or non-agenda items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction, except public hearing items. Members of the public wishing to address public hearing items shall do so at the time of the public hearing. Unless otherwise extended by a majority vote of the City Council, comments shall be limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Any person wishing to address the City Council should complete a green speaker slip that is provided at the entrance of the council chambers and submit the card to the city clerk. When your name is called, please step to the podium at that time and state your name and city of residence for the record.
All right, now let's open oral communication.
First speaker, Ethan Armstrong and Matthew Martians from Westminster High School.
Mayor, if I can, I'd like to introduce our two speakers. To get the PowerPoint on there. Westminster High School, which is one of our high schools here in Westminster, had a Mendez Memorial Park project where 700 students at Westminster High School participated in I think it was about seven groups, came together to come up with a dream or a project, envisioned a actual Mendez Memorial Park. So they had a competition with 7 different classrooms or 7 different groups. And I had the honor to sit on that panel along with other administrators from Huntington Beach Union High School District and serve as a judge. And so I couldn't help but invite these 2 scholars to come and share their project because to me, I find it really inspiring that they're even teaching this in school, and 2, they're eloquent, they're great projects, and just want to give them an opportunity to share a little bit about them. Again, their project, they were tasked to design a parkway that details the civil rights movement and the Mendez family's role. They were supposed to design a park bench that celebrates the achievements and legacy of a specific civil rights figure, and design a playground that educates children about the civil rights movement. So I am going to get straight to the winner. I was going to go through some of the runner-ups, but I think going straight to the winner and allowing them to do their presentation will give all of us a reminder of what this Mendez project is about and what it signifies, and how very fortunate we are here in Westminster and across the country to be and to segregate schools and to allow students to partake in equal education and prepare them for the future. So with that said, I'll turn it over to our 2 speakers, Ethan Armstrong and Matthew Martinez, who were the winners of this project. And I have the PowerPoint if you guys want to click through this, your presentation. Take it away.
All right, well, as you said, I am Ethan Armstrong.
And I am Matthew Martinez.
And this is our proposal for the Mendez Memorial Park. See, here we have an overhead view of what the park is going to be. You have the playground there and the fountain with the statue in the middle with the stepping stones going around the walkway of the fountain. Then you have a little walkway that leads to the memorial bench.
For the stepping stones, we decided to do them for 2 achievements, 2 people, 2 events, 2 quotes, and 2 legal victories. For the achievements, we decided to do Brown versus the Board of Education, which would look like a suitcase. We would also do the Mendez case, which would be in the form of a medal. As for people, we decided to do Martin Luther King Jr., and his stone will be shaped like a cloud. Rodney King, as his stone will be a camera. For the events, we decided to do protests with, or one of the protests the shape would be a fire hose, and Little Rock 9, which would be shaped as a book. Two quotes we felt that were important were one by Dorothy Height, which is, "We cannot afford to be separate. We have to see that all of us are in the same boat." And another by Malcolm X, which is, "Education is the passport to the future. For tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today." And as for the two legal victories, we decided to do the Civil Rights Acts of 1964, which would be shaped as the American flag, and the Voting Rights Acts of 1965, which would be shaped like a ballot box.
For our bench, we decided it should be a block of stone marble, symbolizing the immovable resolve of the civil rights leader. The figure that we decided for the bench, we chose Dorothy Height, and the inscription on the bench will be as follows. Dorothy Irene Height was born on March 24th, 1912 in Richmond, Virginia. She excelled as a student and eventually received a scholarship to attend college. Height graduated from New York University, where she received a bachelor's in education and a master's in psychology. In 1957, she became the fourth president of the NCNW, the National Council of Negro Women. With Height as their leader of the NCNW, they supported voter registration in the South and aided civil rights activists throughout the country.
For the playground equipment, we decided to put a swing set, which would be multicolored to symbolize diversity, a kiddie bus referring to Rosa Parks, and a play structure which would have a bridge connecting the two to symbolize the joining of communities.
For our statue, we decided it should be of the Mendez family, and the statue, for symbolism, we will have medals around Sylvia, Gonzalo Jr., and Jerome's necks, symbolizing the event in 2011 in which they were recognized and awarded Presidential Medal of Freedom. Gonzalo will have an outstretched hand referring to his decision to continue the lawsuit in order to remove segregation for all Mexican children in the community and not just his own children. Sylvia Mendez will have a stethoscope in her hand in reference to her later accomplishments of earning degrees in nursing, which would not be possible without the Mendez case. For the inscription of the statue, it will be as follows. We dedicate this statue to Gonzalo Mendez and his family for their courage and perseverance. They fought for equality by suing the school districts to remove segregation in public schools. On March 18, 1946, the Mendez family achieved an important legal victory in the civil rights movement, followed by a quote from Sylvia Mendez. Mendez isn't just about Mexico. It's about everybody coming together. If you start fighting for justice, then people of all ethnicities will get involved. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So again, I want to thank them. These are our winners. Please give them a round of applause. Especially young age, you know about the Mendez case and really informed about the civil rights movement. I unfortunately never learned about the case until I was in college. But again, I want to acknowledge you for your communication skills and your creativity and your collaboration to work together and to present this project. Again, there were 7 different presenters. You were the top winners, and again, I just want to say it's an honor meeting you, and we enjoyed your presentation. I know there were others that did virtual reality and all kinds of exciting things. I'd like to show some of them, but we don't have time. But again, I want to thank you very much and wish you guys the very best and have a great summer. Thank you.
Em nói mà có.
Next speaker is Nguyen Hung, followed by Joseph No.
Can I speak Vietnamese? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Excuse me. The reason I speak
Hold on a second. I think we have a translator. our city staff. So he's going to translate, why don't you speak in English, and he's going to translate. Okay. All right.
The reason I speak in Vietnamese is because we have a lot of Vietnamese media today, and they record it on television, so I want to speak Vietnamese. So we have 70,000 voters in Westminster, they can't understand. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, quý vị không nên từ chối toàn bộ code of ethics mà chỉ nên không đồng ý với vài điều khoản. Tôi đã nói về code of ethics. I am agree with this code of ethics. Nếu không thông qua quy tắc đạo đức này, quý vị đã chứng tỏ là tâm muốn khống chế quyết định và tiếng nói của dân chúng tôi bằng sự lợi dụng phương thức quyết định đa số thắng thiểu số để áp đảo bất đồng ý kiến. Bởi vì quý vị luôn có một ba lá phiếu mà tôi gọi đây là một nhóm băng đảng quyền lực chính trị của ba người. Tôi không phản đối cái phương thức đa số quyết định này vì từ ngày áp dụng hình thức này cách đây hơn 60 năm, nó đã được điều hành bằng một cách đứng đắn. Nó không sai vì các thành viên của thành phố đã làm. Chỉ đến khi quý vị tạo ra một cái phe nhóm ba free of nhanh thì thành phố chúng ta mới biến thành một nơi múa gặt vườn hoa của quyền lực chính trị bởi lợi ích phe nhóm. Trong số 25 điều khoản do ông David Johnson soạn, tôi nghĩ tối thiểu 10 điều khoản cần được chấp thuận nếu quý vị muốn từ chối bản quy tắc đạo đức này. Đó là những điểm 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 15, 22 và 25 cần được chấp thuận. Mà điều quan trọng và tôi quan tâm nhất đó là điều thứ 8. Tại sao? Vì thực tế không có luật cấm người nghị viên này bổ nhiệm con của người nghị viên khác và đổi lại người kia lại bổ nhiệm con của người nghị viên này để trả ơn đóng vào một kép. Nhưng về khía cạnh đạo đức thì hoàn toàn sai. Quý vị có biết common law là gì không? Quý vị còn nhớ trường hợp của cựu nghị viên Tài Đỗ, nay là dân biểu của tiểu bang. Luật sư Đê Võ, người do ông Tài Đỗ bổ nhiệm đã tống tiền nhận hối lộ 15.000 USD. Vậy sự trao đổi bổ nhiệm con trai và con gái giữa bà Kimberly Ho và ông Chi Nguyễn Mạnh Trí có nằm trong cái thuyết âm mưu với ý đồ khuynh loát cái hệ thống dân chủ trong thành phố Westminster này không? Tôi còn muốn thêm vào các bản dự thảo này nữa, quy tắc đạo đức này là cái người bổ nhiệm cho một người.
Thưa với quý vị, đây là ông Nguyễn Phương Hùng, ông đang trình bày những cái lý do tại sao mà hội đồng thành phố nên thông qua cái quy tắc ứng xử.
Chúng tôi muốn biết lý do là bữa nay là tại vì với cái chương trình tăng thưởng của thành phố thì có rất nhiều thứ hạng thấp nhất với là certificate, recommendation, proclamation, recognition, appreciation and regulation. Trong đó regulation là cái bằng thưởng cao nhất. Tôi đề nghị regulation chỉ được cấp phát khi được tất cả 5 nghị viên cùng đồng thuận. Vì regulation mang tính cái hội đồng nghị viên thì không thể thiếu bất cứ ai để tránh cái trường hợp như là cô Ngô Thanh Vân vừa qua. Ông thị trưởng Tạ Đức Chí đã làm sai khi không tham khảo ý kiến của đồng huyện, nhưng cách giải quyết theo nghị viên Kimberly Ho lại vụng về và chỉ ghi vào trong biên bản buổi họp. Thay vì thay thế bản văn mới thì chỉ có thêm 3 người. Lý do theo tôi vì Kimberly Ho biết chắc chắn sẽ làm tổn thương cho thị trưởng Tạ Đức Chí, cho nên bà đã đề nghị giải pháp này. Nhưng thực tế cô Ngô Thanh Vân vẫn cầm trong tay cái bằng vinh danh đầy đủ tên của 5 người. Phải chăng có sự thỏa thuận giữa nhà sản xuất phim ảnh và thị trưởng Tạ Đức Chí ký hợp đồng phim ảnh giữa Alan Võ Ford với thị trưởng Tạ Đức Chí? Bà Đoàn Quế Anh là vợ của ông Chí Tạ, một người không hề được biết đến trong cái tiểu sử cá nhân, là một người viết truyện phim, và bà Kiều Trinh. Đó là tại sao lý do mà bà Kiều Trinh cũng được mời đến văn phòng của thị trưởng để cùng với cô Ngô Thanh Vân nhận văn bằng. Tôi không quan tâm ông Chí Tạ về
ông Nguyễn Phương Hùng đang đề cập đến vụ mà thị trưởng Tạ Đức Chí trao bằng tưởng lục cho diễn viên Ngô Thanh Vân.
Vì ông đã lợi dụng chức vụ và hội đồng nghị viên Westminster để mưu cầu lợi ích cá nhân của gia đình ông. Tại sao khi trao bằng cho cô Ngô Thanh Vân thì cái lá cờ Việt Nam Cộng Hòa đã bị giấu đi trong phòng? Và khi bởi báo chí Việt ngữ thì ông lại mang hay là đóng kịch?
Sorry, I think your time is
Yeah, I'm
expired.
going. Okay. Anybody want it?
He gives us 5 minutes in English.
Quiet. Yeah. Yes. City manager?
Does he give his 5 minutes in English?
He does.
All right.
Yes.
Does he speak English himself, or does he need staff to translate for him?
Because I only have just a few points.
Okay. Okay.
So we put in the mayor's, vice mayor, and council.
Thưa với quý vị, đây là ông Nguyễn Phương Hùng, người vừa mới phát biểu về quy tắc ứng xử đạo đức của thành phố Westminster. Ông có đề cập đến vụ mà nghị viên Tài Đức Chí và hội đồng thành phố Westminster trao bằng tưởng lục cho nghị viên Ngô Thanh Vân trong cái thời gian mà Ngô Thanh Vân đi qua bên này để giới thiệu cái cuốn phim Hai Phượng của cô ta.
Tonight with the 3 votes, he's again a majority vote, and just by default form of again a member of 3.
Còn đây là người thông dịch viên dịch lại những cái lời của ông Nguyễn Phương Hùng từ vừa mới phát biểu qua bên Anh ngữ, thưa quý vị.
Especially the item number 8, he's against an item number 8 not having the family members being voted in the current office. He also suggests that the resolution should be approved by a majority of the 5 council members, which was given to the Ngô Thanh Vân, the actress, and he asking the mayor why he didn't have the South Vietnamese flag in the picture when the resolution picture was taken. So that's all I have for as far as translation.
Và một trong những cái câu hỏi của ông đặt ra cho thị trưởng Tài Đức Chí là tại sao trong cái buổi mà trao bằng tưởng lục cho cô diễn viên Ngô Thanh Vân đó thì cái cờ của Việt Nam Cộng Hòa được giấu đi chứ không có để ra bên ngoài giống như bình thường.
He live on my message box and they say that he will come after me. So when I see this message, I'm very afraid and very nervous. What did he say about because he's a former officer. When I meet with and then after that I'll call the 911 and the police officer here refer me to the city manager, and I went to the city manager and they refer back to the police department. And Cynthia, she fight with me and she said that I come to your home. I said no, he is a city council or former officer. He cannot say he come to after me. That is, because it is a harassment.
Còn đây là ông Joseph Ngô. Ông nói là ông Tài Đỗ có ý đồ hăm dọa ông. Như quý vị có thể thấy là một trong những cái text message lúc mà ông đang cầm trên tay đó thì có ở phía dưới nó có để là cái trao đổi của ông là Joseph Ngô và ông Tài Đỗ có nói là I will come after you. Cái đó là một cái lời hăm dọa, thưa quý vị. Đó là tôi sẽ đi sau anh.
I'm concerned, I'm very nervous. So that's why I go to Long Beach Police Department and I call them and they say he's not here. So I say, I don't like people to cover for him, And after that he referred me to the supervisor. I think that the city council here meeting tonight have to, do the investigation about Mr. Tài Đỗ. And Mr. Tài Đỗ cannot.
Quý vị có thể thấy ở phía trước đó là ông Joseph Ngô đang nói chuyện và ở phía sau là ông Tài Đỗ đang mỉm cười. Đó là nghị viên Tài Đỗ, thưa quý vị. Và nghị viên Tài Đỗ đang cười khi mà ông Joseph Ngô đang nói chuyện.
He's not good and ethical. He is a liar to the community. He run for the city council. He's not. He should say he's a former officer. on it because he worked for a trainer. It's
Hiện nay ở
not
trong
what
khán
belongs
phòng
to
thì chúng tôi thấy có rất là đông đủ các báo chí của các báo chí Việt ngữ ở Liên hợp Sài Gòn. Thưa quý vị.
Good evening. Seems like I was just here a few weeks ago. Time's flying by. I have in front of me a list of, I'm smiling a little bit in this, so it's not that bad. I have in front of me the list of items that were requested to be removed from the Code of Ethics by the three of you. I don't imagine that the other two council members want them removed. What I'm concerned with is some of the items on here already pertain to things that have gone on this council. And if you wind up taking 25 items off of this list that's been done for the Code of Ethics, you're going to wind up with like a one-sentence Code of Ethics. And I kind of wanted to be part of the team and help you out here, so what I would like to do is this on there?
It's not.
Okay. Okay. This will kind of help you out. This is your one-sentence Code of Ethics up here. If you wind up taking all of these things out.
Giống như ông Mỹ này, ông nói là nếu như mà chúng ta có thể lược bỏ những cái đề mục ở trong cái bản quy tắc ứng xử đạo đức đó, thì cuối cùng chúng ta chỉ còn có một cái câu như vậy ở trong cái bản quy tắc. Thú vị là chúng ta sẽ làm tất cả những gì mà chúng ta muốn.
But don't go stripping out 25 items out of the Code of Ethics. What else is going to be
Tại vì
left?
trong cái bản code ethics thì là họ có một cái dự tính là họ sẽ lấy bỏ đi 25 cái đề mục.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, members of council, good evening. Juan Gonzalez, SoCal Gas. I came in a very intense activity going on here in the city, but wanted to take an opportunity to introduce myself to all of you. Again, Juan Gonzalez, SoCal Gas. I'm actually the temporary public affairs manager within your city. I understand my counterpart, Ms. Linnea Shields, been working closely with some of you, and I'm happy to report, I think from her last visit here at the council, she was expecting her child. I want to say that child and mommy are doing well, and she's out on maternity leave. So for in the meantime, I understand probably until about late summer, anything in SoCal Gas within your city, I want to again to take the opportunity to introduce myself to all of you and be able to be helpful in regards to any activities SoCal Gas related, natural gas.
Quý vị có thể thấy là trong lúc cái ông này đang phát biểu thì ông Ngô Kỷ đang làm việc rất là tích cực ở phía sau. Ông đang quay phim và tường thuật trực tiếp. Do any additional activities that we may be able to provide assistance here in the city of Westminster. SoCal Gas will continue to provide safe, affordable, and reliable energy to all of your residents. And just also want to kind of bring into the loop in regards to activities taking place at the CPUC, where there's actually activities taking place where they're looking to potentially electrify everything in the state. Có nói với lại police của Long Beach họ nói gì?
Where they're looking to get rid of natural gas, which is an impact for all your constituency. So I'll be reaching out to the city manager and reaching out to all of you in the near future. But again, I want to take the opportunity to reach to all of you and introduce myself. Thank you so much for the opportunity before you. Thank you.
I just say, Mr. Gonzalez, thank you for being here. I've been on the council for almost 7 years. I've never seen anyone from the gas company here, nor met them. So it's good to know that there's somebody out there representing them.
Thanks, sir. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Next speaker is Carlos Manzo, followed by Tony Boyd.
Evening, Mayor and council members. I'll keep it short. really don't like to come here and speak to you because I'm sure you know who I am. My name is Carlos Alonso, longtime Westminster resident. I sit on your planning commission, but I'm not here today as a planning commissioner. I'm here to speak to you about something that I find that's wrong in our country. It happens a lot, and I see that it happens here in our city also. You know, come Memorial Day, politicians all over our country are going to go to cemeteries and honor our fallen heroes. And also here, I'm assuming you guys are going to be there. I've seen you at the cemetery. But it's something that I find is kind of hypocritical and wrong is that here we, you know, we come and celebrate them, but then some politicians all over our country, they do things to suppress our democracy. Do things like, you know, make it harder to vote. They gerrymander district lines, run decoy candidates to, you know, split votes, and that's not really giving us a true democracy. You know, our heroes, when they went out to fight in foreign lands, they were told things like, we're going to spread democracy, liberate other countries, fight against communism. And then here we have, you know, things like that they do, politicians do, you know. I find it disrespectful that they do these things as politicians, you know, as people who are elected and appointed officials. We should strive to, you know, carry ourselves with honor, respect, be integrity, and also be ethical. Those are things that's how we should honor our fallen heroes. Not by suppressing democracy and playing all these political games. That's not real respect for our fallen heroes, and for that matter, our living service members, men and women. So, you know, we need to do the best that we can, be the best we can when it comes to ethics. Don't just do the bare minimum just to get us by. We should go above and beyond. Yeah. Other cities are not just, they're striving to do more. On the radio today, I heard that there in other cities, and I think it was LA, they're trying to do more when it comes to campaign finance, ethics, and
William Trust.
you know, all these things may not be illegal, you know, voter suppression, gerrymandered district lines, running decoy candidates, but it may not be illegal, but I'm pretty sure it's unethical to do that, and it's disrespectful. So I think we need to do more as humans, as elected officials, as appointed officials. So it's just my own personal view, and I just wanted to let you know I'm not here with any, you know, alternate agenda. I'm here for myself. I'm not speaking for anybody else. That's why I kind of stay away from here, because I don't want people to think that, you know, I'm here on some other agenda. So thank you very much, and I hope that you guys strive to do more than not just the bare minimum when it comes to ethics, and really honor our servicemen and women by doing better. Thank you.
Next speaker is Tony Buổi, followed by Chi Nguyễn. As a reminder to the audience, if you have anything that you'd like to project on our projector, please bring it up to myself or staff over there. Tony, you can wave over there. We'll be able to help you.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I'm Tony Buổi. I'm a resident of Westminster. In the past month, I witnessed this Westminster City Council meeting from January 2019 did not serve the progress of the city. Why? Because there was too much problems within the board of
Ông Tony Bùi nói là trong cái thời gian vừa qua là hội đồng thành phố không có làm được những cái gì thiết thực cho thành phố hết. Nhưng mà tại vì đã bận rộn để cãi lộn nhau về những cái vấn đề mà corruption là những cái vấn đề bê bối ở trong hội đồng thành phố.
And take my responsibility if this fact is not right. City council member is voted to be the leader of the city. Henceforth, he or she has to protect the interest of the city.
Ông nói là các vị dân cử được bầu lên để lãnh đạo, để đại diện cho dân, để làm những cái gì mà có lợi cho mọi người, cho dân ở trong thành phố.
And even a city manager, he may listen to you and give some advice. Not you get permission from him to do anything. That is the wrong way of conduct business. Therefore, in the past,
ông nói là những người mà dân cử thì không có cần phải nghe lời cái ông city manager, mà ông city manager phải nghe lời những người dân cử.
A city council member of to recall three of the mayor and the Westminster City Council, but he is not successful because the people still always support all of you because his action is not right. It shows that he is presumptuous, self-conceited, arrogant, immoral. So you talk about ethical, but you are immoral. How people can trust you?
Mọi người đã có giữa các
And
bạn
then the second thing, in a meeting last month, there is a vote, 5-5 vote for the project, build up a monument of Hoàng Sa, which was proposed by the mayor Chi and Vice Mayor Kimberly Ho to commemorate those who sacrificed their life and their duty to protect Vietnam. But Mr. Tài Đỗ voted yes for this project. However, within 1 week or 2 weeks, he turned around and stabbed the project by spreading the rumor right on his Facebook that Hội Ái Hữu Cửu Long, the Navy Cửu Long organization, which is going to be presented to build this monument. He claimed that this organization did not have the legality paper. So we call the character of Mr. Tài Đỗ is unfaithful to your own voting decision. And we learn from the fact that your faithful wife also kicked you out of your life, her life, due to your unfaithful character. Please, shape up your character.
I like to invite all the speakers, the members, the community, you're more than welcome to
shape up your whole family.
Hold on. Let me speak, but when you speak, you cannot, mention any personal life, any member of the council, I just want to
So I would like you to shape up your family before you call out for transparency and corruption in the family, in the city.
Sure. Yeah, let me remind you that you're more than welcome to speak anything about policy, anything about the way we conduct, but you cannot, mention about Mr. Solar.
Yes, thank you. I saw the relationship between one individual to the whole community. One individual is not good, then his action will deteriorate the whole community. That is my standpoint. Okay? So this is the things that I really want all of you, that one person's character will affect all the community. So please shape up your character and shape up your mind and be coordinate and cooperate with the whole group to be one team. Teamwork, not single man. Okay? Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Quy Nguyễn, followed by Dr. Long Pham. Yes.
Và đây là cô Thùy Dung Nguyễn sẽ chuẩn bị nói.
Cơ sở của Westminster, tôi chỉ có 2 câu nói với lại quý vị ở thành phố Westminster như vậy. Câu đầu tiên, tôi vẫn tiếp tục chống đối thị trưởng Tạ Đức Chí tự tặng bằng tưởng luật cho chó cái biệt động của thành phần. Đó là điều sai mà thị trưởng không có một lời hối lỗi nào với cộng đồng người Việt quốc gia và những người tị nạn cộng sản như chúng tôi. Đó là điều thị trưởng Tạ Đức Chí phải trả lời trước dân chúng và đồng bào của thành phố Westminster. Tại sao thị trưởng làm điều đó và thị trưởng không một lời xin lỗi? Đó là điều thứ nhất tôi muốn hỏi thị trưởng. Điều thứ hai, tôi không muốn nói nhiều nữa vì đồng tiền 3 vị thị trưởng, phó thị trưởng, cha đi Nguyễn Mạnh Trí đã làm điều sai và tiếp tay với Việt Cộng làm 3 con sâu làm đầu rồi
Again, to summarize, the speaker just spoke. He just had 2 questions. One is, he's against the mayor gave the resolution to the actress Tony Bung, and the second one is kind of, I don't understand, but I think she's pretty much saying the mayors, the vice mayor, and Councilman Nguyen that's working with the that's all.
Và đây là ông tiến sĩ Long.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of City Council. My name is Long Pham, I'm a resident of South Lake. I'm here this evening as a former Vice President of the Orange County Board of Education. I'm here to testify that we do need a set of ethic code. You know, every public agency, we need that. Because elected official, as a human being, we do make mistakes, we do listen for friends and relatives, and we do receive a lot of pressure from all different directions. So to protect the public interest, you know, each and every one of the public agency, we need the code of ethics. And secondly, as the individual, to personally support and campaign for Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Ho, and Councilmember Nguyen when you guys first ran for office. I would like to urge that every one of you please accept the challenging by welcoming the code of ethics rather than rejecting it. Thank you so much.
Quy Kim An, followed by Lisa Phelps, and then Lam Kwok Nguyen.
Thưa ông thị trưởng, chế tài và quý nghị viên, tôi là Bùi Kim Anh, là cư dân thành phố Westminster. 19 năm nay tôi sống trên đường Starkey, Westminster. Tôi có vài lời với tăng nghị viên Tài Đỗ. Tôi yêu cầu ông chấm dứt tất cả những việc đánh phá các nghị viên gốc Việt quốc gia trong thành phố này. Chúng tôi rất phiền lòng mỗi lần nghe ông đến buổi họp để chỉ trích bới lông thịt vết các nghị viên gốc Việt.
Tại sao ông lại vạch áo cho người bản xứ xem lưng như vậy? Thật là xấu hổ. Thật là xấu hổ. Thật là xấu hổ. Thật là xấu hổ. Ông nên dành thời gian quý báu đó để lo cho các cử tri, những người đã từng bỏ phiếu cho ông, trong đó có tôi và gia đình tôi. Tôi rất thất vọng vì ông. Nghị viên thành phố này đã làm việc cho họ, chứ thành phố mỗi ngày tiến triển tốt đẹp hơn. Tôi mong ông làm việc cho thành phố để cho những cư dân trong thành phố và thành phố này mỗi ngày tiến triển hơn. Ông đã vào thành phố này, ông đã đánh phá những người Việt quốc gia. Tôi ở đây gần 20 năm rồi. Chúng tôi không cần những người như ông đã gặp gỡ, chụp hình và phỏng vấn của các tên Việt gian như Nguyễn Phương Hùng, Đàm Vĩnh Hưng. Cảm ơn quý vị đã lắng nghe. Và tôi chống đối ông Johnson đã ra một cái nghị quyết 8.1. Tôi hoàn toàn chống đối. Tôi là người dân của thành phố Westminster. Tôi là một người quốc gia chân chính tại thành phố này. Tôi đã từng lập ra một cái hội thân hữu quốc gia của Quảng Ngãi. Cho nên những người mà làm việc với hội đồng thành phố theo việc dân thì chúng tôi hoàn toàn chống đối. Xin trân trọng cảm ơn.
The speaker, her name is Buổi. She's a resident of Westminster for 19 years. She's just asking why Councilman Tài Đỗ just asked to have him stop against the rest of the city council and use his time for the people who vote for him, and including her. And she also against the item 8.1.
Good evening, Mayor Todd and council members. My name is Lisa Phelps. I've been a resident of the city of Westminster for 33 years. My family actually moved here in 1963, so we lived here. My very first school was Ray M. Schmidt. I'm appalled. I was at the meeting last month. What I just heard today, what I could understand, I am appalled. How do you allow people to verbally attack somebody, anybody on this council, personally? There needs to be a code of ethics. Last time, the same gentleman spoke about how everybody was okay with
Bà nói là tại sao
rights,
là
having
lại để cho phép những cái người lên nói chuyện tấn công cá nhân những nghị viên đang ngồi ở phía trên. Bà nói cái chuyện này là cái chuyện không có đúng. Mà tại sao cứ để cho cái chuyện này tiếp diễn hoài, và cái chuyện này sẽ cần phải được chặn đứng lại, không có được tiếp diễn nữa. Và bà nói là bà muốn bán nhà bà để mà đi ra khỏi thành phố. Tại vì bà quá thất vọng về cái chuyện những thành phố này vậy. Và bà nói là cái hội đồng nghị viên thành phố cần phải có những cái quy tắc về đạo đức. Bà nói là bà rất là thất vọng khi mà coi như là bà bị đứng hình luôn á, khi mà ông nghị thị trưởng Tạ Đức Chí tiếp tục để cho ông Bùi tấn công ông nghị viên Tài Đỗ mà tới 2 lần. Và đây là ông Nguyễn Quốc Lân, luật sư Nguyễn Quốc Lân. Ông là ủy viên hội đồng thành phố, không, ông là ủy viên của học khu Gần Rô, thưa quý vị. Đây là lần trước ông cũng đã xuất hiện ở đây. Lần này ông cũng xuất hiện.
It has a good intention. However, it really, what it does is it renders.
Ông nói là cái bộ quy tắc ứng xử đạo đức nó mới đầu là nó cũng có cái ý nghĩa.
I read it carefully. It requires elected officials to surrender their authority.
Nhưng mà ông nói là khi mà ông đọc cái bộ quy tắc ứng xử này kỹ hơn thì là ông thấy là những cái người mà dân cử là phải nó từ bỏ cái quyền hành của họ.
I see that this is nothing more than an attempt to take down the progress of that the country city has accomplished over many years. We were here where the council members sitting on the dais told us that if you want a parade in honor of the former Vietnamese military forces, you go back to Vietnam to parade there. The mockery of the bravery and the sacrifice of our former military personnel. And we were here when the council member told us that the sacred Vietnamese heritage flag is nothing more than a banner which the city should use the law related to the discount sales commercial banner there. We ask that the council and the council member treat every resident, everyone with the same dignity. We do not ask anything more, but we will not take anything less than other residents. We not slide back to those days. We urge the council to consider the same dignity for everyone. We urge the council member to see through what is before you today and to reject the proposed code of ethics to fulfill your obligations to serve the residents who elected you to represent them. And thank you very much.
Và như các quý vị đã thấy là cũng là một cái bộ quy tắc ứng xử đạo đức mà có người chống và người ủng hộ. Hiện nay là cái số người chống và người ủng hộ có vẻ là cân bằng là 50-50 thưa quý vị. Và đây là bà Judy Bùi, là một trong những cái người cũng là những dân của thành phố Westminster mà lần trước bà cũng có lên đây để mà bà phát biểu cảm tưởng của bà.
Kimberly Ho's son to the Planning Commission. I counted, and there were a total of.
Và lần này bà cũng nói về chuyện là bà nghị viên Kimberly Ho đã chọn con của ông Chi Nguyễn vô trong là Planning Commissioner. Và bà nói là cái số người mà nộp đơn để mà ứng cử cho cái chức vụ đó lên tới 15 người. Nhưng mà chỉ có là chọn con của bà Kimberly Ho. Bà nói là trong số những cái người mà nộp đơn đó có nhiều người là có những cái kinh nghiệm về xây dựng nhiều hơn là con của bà Kimberly Ho.
Also, at the end of the meeting, when you shared your comments, you said you would not apologize, you were not ashamed, that Weston was young and energetic, and we need to hire more young people. Vice Mayor Hosai echoed the same thing. We must give young people more opportunities in the city. Are you aware that the city is covered by California law against discrimination, specifically age discrimination. Do you know how many people
Bạn đang nói về cái luật lệ cái kỳ thị và đặc biệt là kỳ thị về tuổi tác.
And I spoke to your director of HR and risk management right before this meeting. She sought me out. I am correct. Age discrimination does extend down to our city and to applicants. And in this case, because our applicants are applying for a paid position with the city, which would include benefits, they are covered against discrimination against age. I will be continuing this further because it's unethical and I can't let this go, especially as being one of them, even though I'll exclude myself. I'm almost 60 years old and I was not contacted. Many of the other very qualified applicants put down that they're retired and they were not contacted. The second thing that I would like to bring up, Mr. Manfro, this is probably directed to you and to the mayor. Back on December 8th, 2016, it was a Saturday and there was a special meeting. Item number 3, which was brought forward by then Council Member Diana Carey, was regarding the residency verification policy and process for commission and committee applicants. That was passed 4-0 with Council Member Contreras absent. It was passed that we would verify residency of our applicants by checking with the registrar of voters, their driver's license, and a utility bill. Why was that not implemented? I'm looking at you.
I'll answer. I don't know that it wasn't implemented.
It was not implemented. I've spoken to 2 people, and you're only checking the registrar of voters. It was passed to check driver's license and a utility bill. It's in the meeting minutes and it's on the video. No answer?
I'll look into it with staff. Thank you.
All right, and this is where I need the Elmo, please. Can you turn it on? So, had we been following what was passed, this is what we would have found regarding poor Weston Side.
Hi, ma'am, your time has expired, ma'am.
Time's up, please. We gotta show this.
Weston Side is now driving a newly acquired Tesla that is registered to Casino Ridge Road in Yorba Linda.
Ma'am, that's your time has expired.
So you're telling me that you don't want to hear it?
No.
Ma'am, that is really personal. You're more than welcome to have a meeting with any commissioner after the meeting, please. Ma'am, your time has expired.
I know
No more time.
the Orange County District Attorney, Mr. Spitzer, ran with this issue, carpetbagging, as one of the planks.
Ma'am, your time has expired.
I'll take it to him.
Ma'am, your time has
And I don't know where you sleep at night.
Please, don't be rude.
No more time.
I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you so
Thank you. Và đây là ông Mr. Johnson.
Hello, Mayor and City Council persons. Should I wait for Mr. Contreras?
Go ahead.
Please restart my timer. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. My name is David Johnson. I'm a resident of the area. I'm also a commissioner, but I don't speak on behalf of the commission. I speak on only myself. Addressing a comment made by the two speakers ago where he said it would only be appropriate for the council members to be able to go around the city manager and direct others. I'm sure all five of you understand that's not appropriate. That's not how government in the United States works. You create policy, he implements your policy. You can't go around him unless he gives you permission to do so. In this case, we've heard Mr. Manfro say you can speak to a few others on his executive cabinet, including his assistant. But going around it otherwise would be inappropriate, and obviously that lawyer doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. There are two drafts that you will consider tonight according to your agenda. One was 12 pages long, and if you include the cover page table of contents, it was comprehensive and it fit the entire scope, which also included conduct. All clauses of that came from other cities' approved codes. There were no new requirements made for it. All of it came cut and paste from others and then slightly refined. Nonetheless, it was rejected by our city by the Gang of Three. Their new draft is approximately 4 pages and has deleted over 25 clauses, many of which the Gang of Three are already guilty of, and I assume that they don't want to be held accountable. Furthermore, they took out the commitment pledge and took out the mechanism for reporting unethical behavior. Here are a few clauses that have already been violated and that they want to remove in their 4-pager. 1, members should seek to disclose any meetings that they have had with project applicants or opponents or any other substantive information that they may have received outside the public hearing process. I'd like to make a point of this. Did anyone in the audience today notice a few minutes ago that the ex parte communications that was on the agenda was already skipped by the mayor? He skips it at each meeting. It is unethical to do so. That is the point at which you are supposed to express these things. This thing that you are now taking out of the code of ethics. Number 2, materials supplied by the staff member of the city council to the city council member in response to a request must be made to all other city council members so they have equal access. We've heard now that the mayor has issued certificates and proclamations without the knowledge of our city council members. 3, do not get involved in administrative functions, which we just talked about. 4, no member shall attempt to influence the hiring, rate paid, or appointment of any relative of the city. Kimberly and Charlie hid that their children were appointed by each other and then approved them as commissioners. 5, city council members should encourage commissioners to act independently and do not threaten them to remove them in situations where they may disagree with an issue. And I say to you, how is appointing your own children considered independent? Of course you want to delete that one. Number 6, members should encourage others to report unethical issues in a manner that can be both anonymous and unbiased. But here, they don't want to encourage others, themselves or any others in the city government, and have an anonymous way to report issues. Let me read that again. Number 6, members should encourage others to report unethical issues. And that is what's being taken out of the 4-pager. In conclusion, greed on the city council has proven too often more powerful than reason. I hope that our leaders will choose ethics over selfish ambition. This is about right versus wrong and ethical behavior over selfish ambition. Thank you.
Next speaker is Tan-Hing Tran, followed by Jessica Mostanow and Lan Nguyen.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Tan-Hing Tran. I'm speaking on behalf of my family living in Space 56 Magnolia Villa, mobile home in Westminster. I'm also an activist in the Vietnamese community more than 3 decades ago. I have a few questions for the new council member, Tài Đỗ. Why are you making so much trouble to the city since the day you joined the city council? What's your goal? Serving the community or posing
Bạn
for?
Hiền đặt những cái câu hỏi cho ông Tài Đỗ là ông nghị viên mới của thành phố Westminster. Bà hỏi là tại sao ông lại gây quá nhiều phiền phức cho thành phố.
And criticizing your own council members. Shame on you. I think you rather concentrate your effort in serving your citizens.
Bà nói là ông Tài Đỗ nên quan tâm chú trọng đến lo cho dân nhiều hơn.
It's time for you to stop your childish behavior.
Bà nói là ông Tài Đỗ, ông hãy đã tới lúc mà ông nên dừng lại, đừng có làm những cái trò trẻ con như thế này nữa.
You brought up the thought of it. It's fine, but seriously speaking, you first need to look at your personal life, your extramarital life.
Bà Thanh Hiền lại đem cái vấn đề mà về đời sống cá nhân của ông Tài Đỗ lên và lên nói, nhưng mà bà bị mọi người phản đối rất là nhiều.
Why you busy judging others? You left your closet open and your skeleton fell out. So before you start pointing fingers, make sure your hands are clean.
We need code of conduct.
I like to bring up a racist comment from a white woman at the last council meeting. She said that she doesn't want to see a minority from somewhere coming here to take over the city. What exactly did she want to say here? Was she being racist? This racist thinking must be stopped. If she said the same racist word at Santa Ana City Council members a meeting, we the 7 Mexican council members there, she will know what happened to her. As you know, the population in Westminster has been growing. The city is now close to 50% Vietnamese in residence. We're no longer a minority at all. So don't bring in the race issue here. Let's live together in harmony.
Bà Thanh Hiền cũng nói về chuyện là vừa rồi có một cái bà người Mỹ rất là cực đoan, bà nói về vấn đề phân biệt chủng tộc. Thì bà nói là hiện giờ là người Việt Nam ở thành phố Westminster đã hơn cả 50% dân số rồi, thành ra là người Việt Nam ở đây không có còn là người thiểu số nữa. Bà cũng có nói là ở thành phố Santa Ana, thành phố cạnh của Westminster, có tới gần như là tất cả mọi người trên City Council đều là người Mã. Thì nếu như mà cái bà kia mà nói như vậy thì là bà sẽ bị cái gì đây?
Good evening. My name is Jessica Lostenow. I'm a resident in Westminster. I'm speaking this evening regarding item 8.1. I'm rather nervous, so I'm sorry if I make a few mistakes. I read all 3 versions that you posted on the internet, and I do like one additional element that you added to the ethics policy, item 5, use of public resources. I think that was a great addition. I noticed also that a few elements of the code of conduct have been incorporated into the new ethics policy, but the meat of the code of conduct has been eliminated. And the new policy also omits any formalized strategy for imposing sanctions on council members or committee members who do not adhere to the policy. There are only 3 sentences in this new policy which deal with compliance and enforcement, and I'm concerned that this could result in less compliance and ambiguity in how we deal, or the members deal, with those who don't comply. The portion where an official would sign the code has been removed also, so the city would have no documentation showing that an official has agreed to abide to the policy. Basically, it has, in my opinion, the appearance of being unenforceable. So I've been attending sessions since about last January, watched on TV before, And I think he even tried public comments and based on the comments
Còn
that I've
cô
seen in the
Mỹ
last
Trắng
6
này thì
months
cô
or
nói
so,
là cô
there's
đã
a
coi
degree
những
of
cái
mistrust toward the council.
những cái bản nhiều bản khác nhau của cái bộ quy tắc ứng xử đạo đức này ở trên internet, và cô có những cái đề nghị là thêm những cái đề mục vào trong cái bản quy tắc ứng xử này.
It further intensifies that distrust. And I can sense that this is very frustrating for members of the council. Let's face it, city council positions are not highly paid, and they're not very glamorous. The work you do is relentless and sometimes thankless, but you do it because you love the community. In order to move forward and restore public trust, I'm asking that you don't eliminate the original detailed code of conduct, number one. Number two, restore the formal sanction section and
Ở phía
also
xa kia
include a
chúng tôi
place for
cũng có
members
thấy
to
là
sign the
có
code
sự hiện
or
diện
policy.
của
All elements of
ông Vũ Hoàng
the
Linh
code
là
of conduct I think are
phóng viên của
necessary
Phố
for
4
our
Sa
city to
TV,
be
và
healthy.
ông Đoàn Trọng là phóng viên của đài Little Saigon TV.
The community will see, if you eliminate the code of conduct, the community is going to see the ethics policy alone as worthless and possibly further proof of dysfunctional government. If you adopt the original code of ethics that includes that code of conduct, you'll be proving that you're willing to work with the community. And I know that this is not going to be easy, and it's going to require some conciliation on the part of everyone to make a document that everybody can agree upon. But you really all have done so much in service of this community, and this would be a great way to unify our city and restore public trust. Thank you very much.
And then Victoria Kim.
Lan Nguyễn first.
Và đây là cô Lan Nguyễn. Cô nói là cô nói tiếng Anh không có rành, làm ra cô xin lỗi là cô nói bằng tiếng Việt.
Thành phố đã ra những luật lệ ngăn cấm sự xâm nhập của Việt Cộng, mà bây giờ lại mở cửa cho Việt Cộng vô đây. Câu thứ hai là trước đây đó thành phố không có thèm quan tâm gì tới chúng tôi hết. Sau vụ phát bằng khen cho Việt Cộng, các ông bà làm ra vẻ đắc lực, làm việc đắc lực cho những người đã tín nhiệm bằng cách ve vuốt mấy bát cựu quân nhân, như xây đài tưởng niệm các tử sĩ trong trận Hoàng Sa. Và bây giờ làm đi quan tâm đến sự an toàn của người dân trong thành phố lắm vậy. Các ông bà nghĩ là lũ dân ngu dốt Việt Nam sẽ quên và cho chìm xù cái vụ phát bằng khen cho con Việt Cộng đi trước đây. Các ông dám phát đi đã phát bằng khen cho thằng Việt Cộng Hồ Xuân Sơn hả? Ngày nào các ông bà còn ngồi trên những chức vụ do chúng tôi bầu lên, ngày đó các ông bà phải trả lời cho chúng tôi tại sao lại có những hành động phản bội cử tri như vậy. Cảm ơn.
Good evening. So the speaker has two questions. Why is the city trying to stop the communists but actually do let the communists into the city? And the second question is, the council pay attention to the resident and to the people, but why is it betraying the people trust? That's how fast I think about that.
Tôi là công dân cử tri của Westminster. Trước hết xin kính chào hội đồng thành phố và chào tất cả quý vị có mặt ở hội đồng hôm nay. Tôi đến đây.
Hold on a second. You are the hold on a second.
Chào hội đồng thành phố. Hôm nay tôi xin góp ý trong cuộc họp của Hội đồng thành phố. Tôi là một cựu quân nhân ở tù Cộng sản 10 năm và lần đầu tiên tôi sống ở thành phố Westminster này trên 20 năm. Nhưng mà thành phố Westminster là một thành phố yên bình và một thành phố có nhiều cái ý nghĩa lắm. Nhưng mà hôm nay tôi sở dĩ tham gia vì cái cuộc họp ngày hôm nay có cái quyết định, có cái cốt là tiếp và conduct, tức là về cái bộ nội quy và đạo đức và hành động. Thì tôi phân tích cái bộ luật này với cái âm mưu nó như thế nào. Vì khi một dân cử mà được đề cử ra được người dân bỏ phiếu mà không được làm việc, tức là phải qua một cái người gọi là trung gian. Tất cả những gì người dân trong thành phố khi có những vấn đề hoặc là có những cái việc mà cần khiếu nại thì nghị viên và coi như thị trưởng, phó thị trưởng không được làm việc, phải qua cái sự trung gian cái người đó, cái người được dân không được đề cử. Đó là cái âm mưu thứ nhất. Cái âm mưu thứ hai nữa là trong hội đồng thành phố này, nghị viên Tài Đỗ là cái người mới vào thành phố này. Tôi là một cư dân ở đây, đã đi sống ở đây lâu và những người sống ở đây lâu, nhưng mà hội đồng thành phố ở đây sẽ làm việc rất tốt. Đồng ý, không phải năm vô một rồi. Nhưng Tài Đỗ tới đây làm việc trong 3 tháng nay tôi chưa thấy một thành quả cả. Tài Đỗ lên nói rằng bây giờ hội đồng cần phải nghĩa là công bằng tất cả mọi chuyện. Thị trưởng cũng đi học, phó thị trưởng cũng đi học lại. Làm như thế nào? Mà Tài Đỗ chỉ là một cảnh sát viên mà thôi. Đó, thì như vậy nhân dân cộng đồng nên hiểu nó như thế nào. Còn cái bộ luật mà gọi là nội quy đạo đức và hành động này, nếu mà được cư dân này chấp thuận thì thứ nhất là cái người dân không nên đi bỏ phiếu, vì không nên bầu cho thị trưởng, không nên bầu cho nghị viên làm gì, không nên việc phải qua một người trung gian. Thì như vậy những cái tệ nạn trong thành phố xảy ra, đó là chưa nói cái âm mưu thứ nhất. Cái âm mưu thứ hai là khi có cái luật công bằng thì có thể một ngày nào đây có cái âm mưu của người Trung Quốc, có âm mưu của Việt Nam xâm nhập ở đây, có thể hạ luôn cả cái tượng đài về Mỹ ở đây luôn và cho bỏ sự quyết cầu vàng ở đây luôn. Đó là cái âm mưu mà Tài Đỗ đã cấu kết với Bùi Thác, với Phan Kỳ Dân, với Đỗ Hữu, với Tường của tài sản. Bình thường, cư dân bình thường sống ở đây hàng năm chúng tôi chưa bao giờ biết. Nhưng mà tôi thấy trong điều đó là cư dân này phải làm như thế nào để chúng ta có sự công bằng. Chứ ở đây chúng tôi không minh bạch, tại đồng chí không minh bạch Kimberly Ho phải là nói chung ai hết, nhưng mà cái việc thành phố Westminster này
buổi họp đang bắt đầu trở nên sôi nổi thưa quý vị.
Tội cộng sản cách đây 4 năm, Phan Kỳ Dân đã nói tạm chí là cộng sản, nhưng cư dân thành phố vẫn bỏ tạm chí rất tốt, làm việc rất tốt. Rồi từ 2 năm tạm chí lên thành phố lên những 4 năm thì Bùi Thác tới đây cũng chống luôn. Đấy, thì những cái việc như vậy theo tôi thấy là không nên. Đó, hôm nay tôi xin phát biểu và cái ý như vậy. Tôi xin cảm ơn thành phố.
Và đây là ông thông dịch viên là dịch lại những cái gì mà cái chú hồi nãy nói.
20 years peacefully, and he's just wondering why the mayor and the council has to go to a third person or another person to make a decision to run the city, and why the mayor has been accused for many wrongdoings. And there's many more, but that's all I got.
If I may answer that, he also say that when we are at code of ethics, that means there's a plan to take control of the city council, to destroy the city council and give all the control to the city manager.
Next senator do it, but not young time.
I also want to answer that's exactly what he's saying. I say that the city council adopt the code of ethics. I mean, the city council basically transfer the power of the everything to the city manager.
Be fair for everyone. You can
We do not need to elect any elected official.
basically let the city manager run the city. That's what
All right.
Okay.
Next speaker.
Thank you so much. Lúc nãy tưởng là cô đi nói là tôi cũng bị chửi là ông cùng con điên, mà đây là một công dân Mỹ thì có biết tình gì cô đi sợ, nhưng mà không sao cả. Tại vì là đây là một tổng thống còn bị oan, tổng thống còn bị oan, viên trí tài còn bị oan, thị trưởng là cả hội đồng có như tôi cũng bị oan nữa. Thì thôi chúng tôi xin phép được bắt đầu nói. Tôi đến đây để được chân thành cảm ơn nghị viên cảnh sát Đỗ Tài đã đưa ra vấn đề tu chính đạo đức cho quý dân cử, đã giúp cho chúng tôi cái tiếng nói chính trị được mà tu chính này mới giúp cái tiếng nói của người cử tri được đến, được support cho quý dân cử mà chúng tôi bầu. Chúng tôi vote quý vị, chúng tôi yêu quý vị và chúng tôi bảo vệ quý vị bằng tất cả sự thật và làm việc chúng tôi. Không ai được quyền xúc phạm khi mà được bầu rồi thì không được nên, không được quyền vì lợi dụng dân chủ nhân quyền mà chúng ta xúc phạm chúng ta đi những người đã được bầu và khi xúc phạm những người dân cử, những người thị trưởng, những người đó là chúng ta xúc phạm đến cái lá phiếu, cái quyền của cử tri. Đó là điều không nên. Do vậy hôm nay tôi xin một lần nữa xin với tư cách là cử tri công dân Mỹ Việt Nam Cộng hòa Victoria Team Republican Representative of Hanarai chân thành cảm ơn nghị viên cảnh sát trí tài đã đưa ra một cái dự luật để anh đưa ra cái sự bình tĩnh lại và nhắc nhở quý vị chúng ta là người không phải là thánh, cho nên cần phải duy trì đạo đức. Và cái này là phải cần hội đồng thành phố phải cố gắng thông qua bằng tài trí của mình, bằng cái lá phiếu mà chúng tôi tín nhiệm. Tới giờ này vị thị trưởng vật đối tôi mà đồng bào thường nói là đây là một con cưng của thành phố Westminster, của đồng bào cử tri xin hãy luôn. Đối với tôi vẫn đang xứng đáng, hội đồng nhân dân này vẫn đang xứng đáng, và nhất là cái cao sơ mà contract mà tuy là người mẹ nhưng mà tôi thấy là rất là tuyệt vời khi cùng với chúng tôi đi xuống biểu tình đồng hành với đồng bào trong 11 tuần Việt Nam, không được làm người bên trong 11 tuần Việt Nam. Đây là một người thật sự là xứng đáng, trong hội đồng nhân dân cũng xứng đáng. Nhưng mà ngày hôm nay tôi đến đây để mà tôi xin tri ân vị nghị viên Tài Đỗ đã biết đoàn kết với lại nghị viên Phát Bùi bên cạnh đây rồi. Hay là Cali hay là Washington, tất cả đều là nhất ý. Đó phải là quốc gia đức cả, không phải phân biệt người này là người mẹ, người Mỹ, người ta còn mà chúng tôi vote là vì chúng tôi khi mà tôi vote quý vị biết không, tất cả những người này tôi đều vote hết, cho nên là cũng như tổng thống Donald Trump thì chính là tôi cùng vote vào trong đó, cho nên chúng tôi làm nên chiến thắng quý vị thì chính quý vị sẽ làm cho quý vị không còn chiến thắng nữa nếu như không giữ đúng lời hứa. Do vậy cái tu chính sửa, tu chính lại cái đạo đức đó rất cần. Và xin qua đây tôi xin thị trưởng Tài Đức chính tài đối với tôi cái giờ này vẫn là xứng đáng, cũng như là hội đồng dân như vậy xứng đáng, mà phải là cảm ơn cái người mà nghị viên đầu mới vào nhưng mà rất là dũng cảm đã đưa ra để lắng nghe những cái nó chạy chửi chạy hòa bị nhắn là Phật hồ Phật cộng sản cho nên nó chửi chạy nó không thành vấn đề. Nhưng mà quý vị thấy họ từng thú họ cộng sản với ai nữa thì bây giờ là tôi đề nghị với lại thị trưởng trí tạ cùng với hội đồng Westminster chúng ta làm hết lại, chúng ta quên bên đặt anh lo như vậy. Nghị viên Phát Bùi đó là chủ tịch cộng đồng của chúng tôi, cho nên là nghị viên Tài Đỗ rất là tuyệt vời, biết đoàn kết lại, chúng ta biết đoàn kết để tan tành những ông vô cùng phá hoại những quỹ đạo thù quỹ bằng cái sự chia để anh phá lẫn nhau, làm nhục lẫn nhau, nhất là làm nhục những người dân chủ chúng tôi không tôi tức lắm, nhưng mà tôi phải vì sao vậy luật pháp hiến pháp của Mỹ chúng tôi có quy định rồi. FBI CIA là gì tự thăm có một tay xanh suốt là vùng nào mà nó xúc phạm các thứ của tôi làm nhục tôi ngay tại cái với cái nơi này, cho nên đừng có lo. Và quý vị đừng có lo, quý vị hãy nhớ là nếu giữ cái lời hứa, giữ đúng đạo đức mà tu chính giống như là cái
cái dự luật mà nghị viên Tài Đỗ này đưa ra, chúng ta hãy thông qua đi. Tôi hứa rằng nếu khi mà tổng thống có ra cho mình nước mừng cho cô, từ qua năm đến giờ đây không đưa ra, cô mà tiền thắng một xã tôi sẽ dành riêng $1 tỷ để mà xúc động cho thành phố.
Quý vị có thể thấy là cái cô này nói chuyện với ông Ngô Kỵ ngồi phía sau cũng cười, và nhiều người ở đây nói là cô này bị khùng, nói nhiều quá. Nhưng mà cô nói nhiều quá như vậy, không biết là cái anh thông dịch viên này anh có ghi kịp để mà thông dịch kịp hay không?
Some key points, just thank the council, Councilman Tài Đỗ for proposing the code of ethics tonight, and remind everybody that the code of ethics needs to be passed. And she also thanked the Councilman Perez that she joined the community parade that's against communists. And the code of ethics is needed, and she also commended the job well done by the mayor, and also suggest that we need to unify, and so we should approve the code of ethics, being proposed by Councilman Tài Đỗ tonight.
Next set of speakers, Thuy Vo, followed by Amy Phan West, followed by Roger Mindrum.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Councilman. My name is Thuy Vo. I'm a resident of Westminster City. I'm here today to listen to Westminster resident voice regarding the code of conduct for city officials. This is an ongoing debate issue for the city of Westminster. But in my view, it is an issue for the whole Vietnamese community around the city of Westminster. When you selected as a city official, your primary duty is to serve for the benefit and interest of the Westminster residents with honesty, integrity within your authority. I heard the city mayor gave honorable award for an individual who did not do or serve anything good for this city.
Cô này nói là ông đưa lên cái vấn đề là ông Tạ Đức Chỉ là thị trưởng của Westminster là đưa cho bằng tưởng lục, bằng khen cho những cái người mà nó không có dính dáng để đến thành phố hết.
When there is an issue, I like to see the city official united and resolve issues together.
Cái mong muốn của cô là muốn mọi người, mọi nghị viên thành phố là đoàn kết lại với nhau.
Single voice from city council with majority approval, restore trust from citizens.
Cô nói là những nghị viên của thành phố phải làm cái gì đó để mà lấy lại lòng tin của nhân dân ở trong thành phố. Cô mong muốn là mọi người ngồi lại với nhau để mà giải quyết những cái vấn đề ở trước mắt.
Bây giờ tôi sẽ nói vài lời tiếng Việt. Tôi là người tị nạn, tôi qua đây lúc 12 tuổi. Tôi đi Brooklyn 4 lần vì cộng sản. Ba tôi là commander ở ngoài Trung. Phải trốn vô Sài Gòn để trốn đi Brooklyn. Bao nhiêu chịu cực khổ, trốn học tập, cậu tôi chết trong tù, cộng sản, đi học tập chết. Bao nhiêu uất ức khi mà tôi thấy những cái hình ảnh. Tôi không ở đây 39 năm, chưa về Việt Nam. Mà khi mà tôi thấy mà hội đồng thành phố trao bằng tưởng lục cho cô Ngô Thanh Vân, tôi rất là uất ức là cái người đó mặc cờ Việt Nam. Cái chuyện đó người ta về Việt Nam ta làm gì, kệ người ta hay là gì. Nhưng mà hội đồng thành phố trao bằng thưởng như vậy 5 người, rồi final 2 người không có trong đó, thì thôi ta như ngay đó đây 3 người reissue cái bằng tưởng lục. Thì cái đó rất là đau lòng cho những người tị nạn Việt Nam. Mình đưa một cái dao cho Việt Cộng, nó nói là Westminster bây giờ cũng mở đường cho Việt Cộng vào đây. Thì cái chuyện đó rất là emotional khi tôi nói, tại vì gia đình tôi từng đau khổ dưới chế độ cộng sản. Tôi xin hết. Can I put this on the screen? Good morning, Council, Member, and Mayor. First and foremost, I want to thank you for the staff. Actually, before, can I have a Billy's translator to translate for me? Can you put it on that screen?
I think, why don't you speak first, and he will translate.
You denied it before.
Okay, let's start. Okay, first and foremost, is it on? Okay, first and foremost, I want to thank the staff, city council member, mayor, city manager, city attorney for working on this revised code of ethics. Also, I wanted to thank those
Quý vị có thể thấy là có một cái chú đứng cầm cái
tonight.
bảng tên của thị trưởng trí tuệ và gạch chéo phản đối thị trưởng trí tuệ.
It is important that our duly elected representatives, the mayor and city council, affirm our guiding principle to the highest standard of conduct.
Số này lực lượng
It is important how the city council
truyền thông rất là hùng hậu
interacts
thưa quý
with
vị.
themselves,
Có tới
the city
5-6 đài
staff,
tường thuật
and
trực
the
tiếp
public.
cái buổi hôm nay.
It is important how our commissioners interact with themselves, the city staff, and the public. And it is crucially important how our city staff interact with themselves, commissioners, and council, and of course the public. City staff are on the front line
Ông Ngô Kỷ
every
bữa nay
day
cũng
in
rất
and
là tích
out.
cực
They are
tường thuật từ đầu đến cuối thưa quý vị.
of first impression, whether it is at the senior center, building permit
Và ở phía sau này chúng ta có thể thấy
or
là
the
có
police
sự đại diện
patrol
của
on
luật
our
sư
streets.
Lê Công Tâm.
How employees interact with the public is crucial. And let me say, I think they are doing a wonderful job. That is why I recommend that the City Council adopt the version from the City of Huntington Beach because it includes city employees. This version is time-tested and it works. Most importantly, it is the only version that includes the city employees. What also makes this the preferred version is simplicity and elegance. The guiding pillars are important of this positive statement that we all can endeavor toward. Number one, responsibility. Can you guys see it? Okay. Sorry. Number one, responsibility. I understand that the citizens of Westminster expect me to serve with dignity and respect, and to be an agent of the democratic process. I would seek to avoid taking action which might cause the public to question my independent judgment. I would not use my office, my position, or any city resource for personal or political gain. I promise to be prudent steward of public resources and to actively consider the impact of my
Cô này
position
đang đọc
on financial
những
and
cái
social stability of the city and
danh mục ở trong cái bản
fairness. I will promote
cái
consistency,
bản quy tắc
equality, and
ứng xử đạo đức.
of my decision. I will make decisions based on the merit of an issue, including applicable research and facts. I acknowledge the importance of the public's involvement in the decision-making process, and I will seek to encourage public participation and right to know. Respect. I will treat other public official and member of the
Cô
city
nói là
staff
thành phố
and the public with
Westminster nên
respect.
nên là lấy cái bản quy tắc ứng xử của thành phố Huntington Beach đem về sử dụng cho thành phố Westminster, tại vì theo cô là cái bản quy tắc ứng xử đạo đức đó nó rất là tốt, không có cần phải viết thêm cái bộ quy tắc ứng xử nào nữa. Vậy giờ là cô đang đọc từ từ những cái đề mục ở trong cái bản quy tắc ứng xử đạo đức của thành phố Huntington Beach, thưa quý vị.
I know these pillars of Westminster resident wanted our city to run
Cũng cái cô này trong cái lần họp trước của hội đồng thành phố thì cô cũng đem cái vấn đề này lên để nói. Cô cũng có đề cập đến vấn đề là cái bản quy tắc đạo đức của thành phố Huntington Beach, và hôm nay cô đi vô chi tiết hơn.
Resident here. Basically, with this one-page code of ethics that's proven, tested through time through Hudson Beach Code of Ethics, it actually says in here.
Cô nói là cái bản chỉ có một cái trang thôi, cái bộ quy tắc ứng xử chỉ có một cái trang của thành phố Huntington Beach, là nó đã được thử thách qua một cái thời gian dài rồi và nó rất là hữu hiệu, thưa quý vị.
So every city council, every commissioner, every staff, every employee, first responder, everyone on duty signs up and submit it. So that's the code of ethics, and I don't see any way that it could be twisted or confused. Thank you for your time.
Can you translate?
There's no legal translate. Okay.
Good evening, Roger Minzel.
Translation or no? No, right?
No, there's no legal requirement.
I'd like to first share a first minute or two with my neighbor, Floyd Boyd, so she can finish her important points that she did not get to finish.
Hi, may I have the elbow, please? We're speaking of the consequences of not following the city ethics and having things adopted by the city council but not implemented by the city manager, because this is what was missed.
Why is it on that?
Indeed. Weston Side, which recently acquired a Tesla, and it is registered to Casino Ridge Drive in Yorba Linda. So either he really doesn't live at one of the addresses he's given in Westminster. One address is of his grandparents. 3 addresses are actually his mother's beauty care business. Or I talked to Flo from Progressive today, and it's insurance fraud, because the insurance rates up at the top of the hill in Yorba Linda are much more favorable than down here in Westminster. So these are the consequences of not having ethics and a code of conduct or following up to make sure these checks and balances are actually implemented.
Bà Mỹ này, bà nói là rất là quan trọng để có một cái bộ quy tắc ứng xử, tại vì nếu mà không có bộ quy tắc ứng xử về đạo đức này thì sẽ có nhiều chuyện nó xảy ra, giống như là một cái chuyện mà bà vừa mới đem lên và có cái bằng chứng mà bà trưng ra đó.
These new street lights literally light up the street in a direction that lights up the whole street, and the cars that are parked on the side of the street. It is safer. It is better. It's like a sidewalk. I don't know who designed it. I don't know who selected it, but good job. So regarding each by one, the 8-page is really 8-page code of conduct and ethics that was put together and submitted by Mr. Benthausen, the Assistant City Attorney. Contains a good, comprehensive list of what we, the residents, we, the people, expect of your conduct and your ethical actions. It's really all common sense morality.
Và ông Mỹ Trắng này cũng lại tiếp tục lên để nói chuyện về cái bộ quy tắc ứng xử đạo đức, thưa quý vị. Ông cũng nhấn mạnh là cần phải có cái bộ quy tắc ứng xử đạo đức này, và bộ quy tắc ứng xử đạo đức cần phải được thông qua. Cũng giống như là phải nói quay ngược trở lại để nói chuyện với lại cho quý vị hiểu một chút xíu là từ khi ông Tài Đỗ là ông nghị viên mới của thành phố Westminster có mặt ở trong cái hội đồng thành phố, thì ông đã đưa một cái vấn đề là hội đồng thành phố phải có một cái bộ quy tắc ứng xử đạo đức, và ông đưa ra cái bộ quy tắc đó, và nhưng mà thành phố bị chia ra làm hai phe. Cái phe đa số là phe của ông Tạ Đức Chí, bà Kimberly Ho và ông Chi Nguyễn, là phe đó là 3 người là chống lại cái chuyện mà thông qua cái bộ quy tắc ứng xử đạo đức đó, trong khi là phe còn lại là ông Tài Đỗ và ông nghị viên người gốc Mễ là ông Contreras là ủng hộ cái dự án đó, cái bộ quy tắc đó. Nhưng mà thì hiện giờ nó cứ bị lưng chừng ở chính giữa.
Tôi là cư dân ở thành phố Westminster đã hơn 20 năm. Tôi rất là cảm ơn nước Mỹ chúng tôi được tự do đi bầu, chúng tôi lựa chọn những người tài có đức, và chúng tôi đã tín nhiệm quý vị đại diện chúng tôi. Tôi nghĩ là quý vị có đủ học thức và để mà đại diện để làm những việc để nâng cao đời sống và an ninh cho cư dân Westminster. Nếu quý vị mà làm những cái gì sai quái, sai trái thì chúng tôi là người sẽ không bầu cho cái kiến này nữa. Còn ngoài ra, quý vị vì một cái sức mạnh nào đó chi phối quý vị mà quý vị không có làm theo ý của cư dân thì quý vị tự loại ra khỏi cái sự nghiệp chính trị để mà giúp đỡ mình. Tôi nghĩ là mình là một cư dân thì mình bầu lên thì mình cũng có quyền giám sát đàng hoàng, và mình có quyền chấp thuế vì cô. Và chúng tôi muốn biết là nếu mà cần vì cô thì chúng tôi phải làm gì. Những người chúng tôi không tín nhiệm nữa, không làm được cho cộng đồng, cho Westminster. Xin cảm ơn.
Theo như cái lời của cô hồi nãy vừa mới phát biểu thì cô nói là nếu như mà những cái người mà mới những cái người mà được dân bầu lên là những người giống như cô bầu lên, mà nếu mà không làm được việc thì cô đã bầu lên thì cũng có quyền là bỏ phiếu bất tín nhiệm để mà loại bỏ những cái người dân cử đó khỏi những cái vị trí mà họ đã được bầu lên. Đó là cái quy tắc của cái quy tắc đó là cái quy tắc mà chúng tôi gọi là recall, có nghĩa là không có tín nhiệm nữa, thưa quý vị.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Andy. I'm not happy when I come here to talk about Mr. Tài Đỗ, who has some problems. My original country is from Vietnam, so I can speak Vietnamese better than English. I would like to speak Vietnamese. I'm sorry. Kính thưa quý vị, tôi rất buồn lòng khi đến đây để nói về ông Tài Đỗ. Thử hỏi như một thành phố, ví như căn nhà đó thì có cha mẹ, có anh em. Mà anh em á, thì nếu mà tốt á, thì mình nói cái chữ mà xây dựng với nhau, chỉ trích nhưng mà còn cái tinh thần tương thân tương ái. Nhưng mà ông Tài Đỗ đó, cái chỉ trích của ông là chỉ trích phá hoại, cái chỉ trích xây dựng. Hai cái sự chỉ trích nó khác nhau. Mình phải hiểu là trong cái chỉ trích đó có cái lòng của cộng đồng, có cái lòng của xây dựng thì ai cũng hiểu được. Nhưng mà nếu mà chứa được ở trong đó những cái sự đánh phá thì đương nhiên là sẽ hiểu rõ. Trong thâm tâm ai cũng có thể hiểu được. Nếu mà người ta hiểu rõ ra thì người ta không bao giờ người ta làm cái việc đó. Thế mà ông Tài Đỗ làm cái chuyện mở ám, trong khi nói về đạo đức, chính trị không nên nói về đạo đức, chính trị nói về liêm chính thì được. Chính trị mà nói về đạo đức là cái điều đó là không đúng. Hỏi chứ nếu mà chính trị mà dựa trên đạo đức thì cái ghế ngồi quý vị đây là những tu sĩ, là những thượng tọa, là những linh mục. Tại vì những người đó có khả năng về đạo đức, nhưng mà đâu có tham được đâu. Đạo đức cũng không có làm được cái việc đó. Chỉ có chính trị gia người ta chuyên nghiệp, người ta hiểu rõ những cái nhân tình cái thái người ta làm được. Thành ra ông nói về đạo đức á, mà tư cách đạo đức ông không có thì ông thật ra nói về đạo đức được. Đó là một cái điều tầm bạc. Ông ăn nói như là tào lao ấy. Ông cái là mang danh người viên, nhưng mà tôi thấy ông nghĩa là không xứng đáng. Mà nhiều người mơ hồ nghe ông nói không hiểu rõ được cái thâm ý đó. Mà ông đánh phá anh em ruột và đánh nhau như vậy thì tôi hỏi cái cộng đồng như vậy nát bét như xưa thì ông có thấy đau lòng không? Ông đâu có đau, ông chỉ muốn đá anh em ra khỏi nhà thôi. Mà cái nhà này là của cộng đồng, không phải riêng ông đâu. Mà thị trường chí đạo, ông đừng có nghĩ rằng cái lá phiếu của nghị viên với lá phiếu của thị trưởng nó khác nhau nha. Thị trưởng người ta đã ứng cử riêng, người ta được bầu như vậy xứng đáng thị trưởng. Còn nghị viên á thì muốn lên á thì ông cứ việc ra thử thôi, ông có làm nổi không? Cái chuyện đó là chuyện của ông, nhưng mà ông đừng có lên nhà cao bằng cái lá phiếu của thị trưởng và lá phiếu của nghị viên, giống nhau không giống nhau đâu. Cái thứ hai là nói về cái dự luật đạo đức của ông ấy, thì tôi hỏi cử tri bầu cho một người như vậy thì muốn trao cái quyền cho cái người được bầu đó, để cái người đó có quyền thay mình làm những chuyện gì đó. Nhưng mà tiếc rằng như là muốn xóa cái quyền đấy thì tôi đi bầu làm cái gì? Người thị trưởng phải có quyền chứ, không có quyền thì ông mới ngồi đó làm ông bụt ngồi đó để cho người ta dẫn chơi à? Ông đừng có lên nghĩ như vậy là sai lầm. Đôi khi ông không đủ tư cách đạo đức cá nhân và gia đình ông nắm như vậy. Ông đã làm những cái chuyện mà không ai mà ấy được, nhưng mà ông biết khuyên người khác về đạo đức không? Ông chỉ nói là chỉ trích xây dựng, chỉ trích xây dựng mà ông là chỉ trích.
Ông Tài Đỗ lại tiếp tục bị những cái người mà phát biểu tấn công ông về cái gọi là tấn công cá nhân ông về cái tư cách đạo đức của ông. Họ nói là ông không có đủ tư cách để mà làm việc, không có đủ tư cách để mà ngồi ở cái ghế nghị viên.
And we shouldn't go against the community, and the politician doesn't each have a code of ethic, and that's all I got. So.
You don't know how to select it. When I go, it's 5 minutes, and you select, you select.
All right. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Jerome Frey.
Đây là ông Ngô Kỷ, và ông phản đối khi mà cái người phát biểu thì phát biểu rất là nhiều, nhưng mà cái người mà thông dịch chỉ thông dịch là có khoảng chừng vài giây thưa quý vị. Ông kia phát biểu 3-4 phút mà người thông dịch có vài chục giây, cho nên ông rất là tức giận và ông gọi người kia là stupid, cái người thông dịch, cái anh thông dịch đó.
Over a period of time, when you went that long for an organization to independent, several different roles.
Và đây là tới lượt một cô Mỹ, Mỹ trắng, cứ hết Mỹ trắng rồi xong tới Mỹ vàng, Mỹ trắng tới Mỹ vàng. Ở đây không thấy có người Mỹ đen lên phát biểu thưa quý vị.
When Dave Johnson and some other people on our community website were posting about this code of ethics and the issues with it, that in essence was my job. It was to make sure that in every facet of our organization
that we follow the rules. It's important to have rules, and it's important that they be followed. And the point I want to make about it is, I'm looking at this list of 25 things that were to be nixed from the code of conduct. And the one thing I can say is, if you nix one of them or two of them, none of that matters if no one signs the code of conduct, number one, and if there are no consequences for violating the code of conduct. If those two things, if it isn't actually a contractual agreement that you agree.
Cô người Mỹ này lại nói tiếp tục về cái bộ quy tắc ứng xử đạo đức, thì cô nói là cô đang nói về những cái chuyện là nếu như mà mình mất một trong những cái mục ở trong cái bộ quy tắc ứng xử đó, thì là nó sẽ có những cái nó sẽ thay đổi lớn ở trong những cái trong cái bộ quy tắc ứng xử.
And what has happened, and if you really look at, and this is another really important thing about working in the engineering field, whenever we do a project, one of the most essential parts at the end of a project is what we call lessons learned. You look back at what you did, and you glean from that what problems came up. You know, how can we make sure that the next project that we do is going to be better? And that's not just to keep contractors happy or whatever. It's to keep things working and functioning properly. And so I say, maybe if you succeed in getting these things nixed, from the code of conduct, and it gets ratified and approved, there's still consequences that come. But the problem is they come to our city in the form of lawsuits and corruption, and I don't want to see that happen. I love this city. And I love this country. I love our constitutional republic, and we can learn a lot. And I believe that our city.
Cô nói là nếu như mà chúng ta không có những cái bộ quy tắc ứng xử, chúng ta không có mà làm đúng, thì thành phố sẽ bị những cái vụ kiện tụng nó sẽ liên tục xảy ra.
And I also was in charge of responding to public information requests and any records that had to be provided in the event that there's disagreement. As a city, I'm sure you know, that is something that can happen. If things get out of hand, if they don't go the way that they're supposed to, having no code of conduct for people to know what to follow as elected officials, if we don't have one, it's the same thing as trying to build a house with no blueprints. It's just, you're just kind of shooting from the hip and saying, well, let's see how it turns out. And I don't want to see that happen to our city. We've seen it enough. I've seen it with the city of Bell. I mean, it just got to be corrupt, and then it caused problems. We've had those kinds of problems in our own city. And we've had things that had, people who got greedy or, power hungry, and then they had to be taken down. That's what's going to happen. I would rather we not do that. I would like you to have a code of conduct. I would like us to have it.
Và kết thúc của cái phần phát biểu của cô là cô nói là cô rất là mong muốn là thành phố mình có, thành phố Westminster có một cái bộ quy tắc ứng xử đạo đức. Cô tha thiết đề nghị như vậy thưa quý vị. Và đây là một cái người khác nữa.
Mayor Todd, Congress members, good evening. When I came here, I didn't have a plan to say anything. But now that I sit and listen to all of this going on, what's happening, and I see the sign up here that says, "In God We Trust." But we have to go farther than that, because if we don't trust each other,
Ông Mỹ này ông nói là lúc đầu tiên ông tới đây ông nghe thì ông không có dự định là ông nói gì hết, nhưng mà sau khi mà nghe tất cả nhiều cái rồi thì ông bắt đầu ông nói là ok, ông cần nói một cái gì đó. Ông là cựu chiến binh Mỹ ở Việt Nam thưa quý vị. Quý vị có thể thấy là ông đội một cái mũ có cái chữ là Xuân Lộc Việt Nam ở phía trên. Nếu mà tôi zoom ra chút xíu quý vị có thể thấy rõ hơn.
And they knew what it was to work. They got their hands sturdy. They had an integrity about them that was very incredible because what they said is what they did. And the people from the cities who were
Ông nói là ở trên tường có cái chữ là In God We Trust, có nghĩa là chúng ta tin tưởng vào Thượng Đế, nhưng mà chúng ta cũng nên là tin tưởng lẫn nhau nữa thưa quý vị.
When I see this going on here, all of these people sitting here, the people who, I don't know, too many people that were born in California here, born in Westminster. I remember when Westminster was mostly orange groves and strawberry patches. And I finished high school here, and then I went to a college of hard knocks in Southeast Asia. And I learned over there that the Vietnamese people, I have a special place in my heart for them.
Ông nói là người Việt Nam có một cái chỗ đứng rất là đặc biệt ở trong trái tim của ông. Đây là cái chữ mà In God We Trust, là cái chữ mà chúng ta tin tưởng vào Thượng Đế thưa quý vị.
They're not millennials, but they don't know what the struggle is, and they take advantage of what's here. But it really saddens me when I see someone come from such a hard life, that they had such a real struggle to live and to get by and to take care of each other and to watch out for each other and to know that when they went home to their home that they were going to be safe that night because someone was there to make sure that no one would get in on them. But here it seems like everybody's out to have their own pocket. They're out to take care of their own clan, whatever, and it's really sad. It's sad for me to see this happening in this community from such a fine bunch of people. Because, I mean, I put my life on the line to defend the Vietnamese people, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I couldn't do it as good as I did before because I don't move like I did, but
ông nói là ông yêu người Việt Nam và ông là hy sinh để mà bảo vệ cho người Việt Nam. Ông nói là nếu như mà ông có được một cái cơ hội để làm cái chuyện đó nữa thì ông cũng sẽ làm. Nhưng mà hiện giờ là cái sức khỏe của ông nó không có cho phép ông đi đứng không có còn nhanh nhẹn như trước nữa thưa quý vị.
Because when you die, not one bit of it goes in the casket with you. Nothing. Unless somebody owes you money and they write you a check and put it in there. And then something might go with you, and that's about it. But the thing is when you
ông có nói là khi mà một người mà chết đi thì không có cái đem theo được cái gì hết, trừ khi là những cái này ông chỉ make an joke là giỡn thôi quý vị, nói một cái câu đùa là trừ khi là có một cái người nào đó thiếu nợ tiền của quý vị và họ viết một cái chi phiếu và họ để vô trong cái quan tài để trốn theo.
But if it doesn't, you're dead to the world. Nobody cares. You look at some of the great presidents that we've had, and everybody knows who they are. Great leaders, they know who they are. But the leaders that were selfish and only took care of their own, they didn't last very long at all.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Mayor Chu City Council. I'm here representing the Vietnamese, Vietnam Veterans of America and some South Vietnamese military organizations. I was asked to come here to do this. Thank you for taking the good, bad, and the ugly tonight. What is being presented here tonight? Questions of truth, honesty, integrity.
Đây là một ông Mỹ, ông cũng nói chuyện về những cái chuyện về đạo đức, thưa quý vị. Quý vị có thể thấy là ông mặc một cái áo đỏ và có một cái huy hiệu màu vàng ở bên ngực trái của ông. Nhưng mà chúng tôi có thể là cam đoan chắc chắn cho quý vị là đây là không phải là cái áo cờ đỏ sao vàng, thưa quý vị. Nhưng mà nếu mà mới nhìn sơ sơ thấy cũng hơi giống, thưa quý vị.
Last fall, some of the stuff I've said before, last fall there were a number of city council meetings.
Quý vị đừng có lầm nha, cái áo này không phải là áo cờ đỏ sao vàng như quý vị.
Build a museum and Vietnamese visitor center at the memorial, removing the playground was approved. It was forced through with opposition. It was only Vietnamese directed. There was no American Vietnam veteran input. The memorial was built with both Americans and South Vietnamese creating it and developing it. Granted, a joint committee was suggested where we get American Vietnam veterans, South Vietnamese, whatever, but I don't know if anything came of that. I was asked, but I guess I didn't want to be a part of it because I think what's going on with the memorial is wrong. There were subsequent city council meetings where more opposition to the licensing agreement, and the individual who was given the license, is that political nepotism? Someone on the city council told me that the licensing agreement was rescinded. I don't think that's happened. We inquired, and I was told that nothing happened. But I want to get to the Vietnam War Memorial itself. It is a sanctuary. It's a holy place that those who paid the ultimate price, both American and South Vietnamese, should be honored. And those that lived through the war, that were there, who lost their comrades and their family, they should be honored. There shouldn't be a museum, there shouldn't be a visitor center. All this building is taken away from what the memorial was meant to be. We need to honor those people that paid the price and those that still suffer.
Ông nói là chúng ta cần phải vinh danh những cái người đã xả thân.
What the memorial was meant to be. Thank you.
Còn đây là ông Chi Nguyễn. Lần trước ông cũng đã phát biểu một lần.
Cộng đồng người Việt Nam, cộng đồng người Việt quốc gia hôm nay, tonight, applauding a traitor, a turncoat, a Benedict Arnold, this Mr. Nguyễn Ho right here, he turned his back on the community and he went back to communist Vietnam. But yet you people applauded him. So where is your spirit fighting forward?
Can you talk to us?
Excuse me, sir. Second thing, I'm here tonight because of. I'm here tonight because you, Mr. Tài Đỗ, council member. You, on Facebook and social media, you're talking about transparency.
Ông Duy Nguyễn là nói trực tiếp gửi lời nói tới ông Tài Đỗ.
Is that a act of a police officer or a council member? You challenge me to talk one-on-one. Well, guess what? We're talking right now, one-on-one. You accuse me, and also actually accuse me of stolen valor. I'm a volunteer of the California Military Reserve. Okay? That consists of 6,000 volunteers in the state of California. We is the first line of defense when there's natural disaster in the state of California or in the other states. You just insulted 6,000 volunteers in the state of California. And guess what? My JAC officer will contact you for what you just said. That's one point. Secondly, where are you getting off of threatening other members who criticize you? You can't answer the question, can you? You're a public figure. You have to endure criticism and also praises from everyone else. That's your job. You threaten them, you overstep your boundary. Third, a lady earlier mentioned we're a constitutional republic. You're right, she is right. We are a constitutional republic. Our country, our states, and also our cities, we use laws and regulation as a guide to run the city, not code of ethics. Code of ethics is just individual interpretation, as I mentioned previously. You use this as a leverage to attack these three individuals right here. You and your minions, calling them Gang of Three. But you, Fat Boy, and Jen Nguyen, I called you three are the new triads of OC. Even game, right? You call them names, I call you back. Singles out. They do what's best for the city. Your job was elected to solve city issues, not this stuff. It's the code of ethics. She appointed Charlie's daughter, son or daughter.
Ông Duy Nguyễn lại tiếp tục công kích, chúng ta phải gọi là tiếp tục là công kích ông Tài Đỗ.
Does that help solve the homeless situation? No, it doesn't. Does it help? Does it help with the crime situation in the city of Westminster? No, it doesn't. You're picking a fight that has no leverage, no nothing at all. You're just making an issue out of nothing. Your purpose is to divide the community, the Caucasian, and other communities against the Vietnamese. Also, Vietnamese against Vietnamese. But for you to do that, what's your end game? Honestly, you talk about ethic, right? Your ethic is this: you pick a woman to fight. Is that ethical for you? Is it transparency of you when you had your commissioner, David Johnson, draft up this ethics? Failure to disclose to everyone else that he's your commissioner, you appointed him. Is that ethic? And by the way, Mr. Johnson, a commissioner of appointed position is considered to be volunteer. You do not get salary nor benefits. If you don't understand the word volunteer, I will gladly educate you and also teach you the meaning of it.
Stipend.
Okay? But it's not an employee, you don't get benefits.
Yes, they do.
You're wrong.
No, you're wrong on everything.
I was traffic commissioner of the city of Westminster. I do not receive any benefits from the city, nor any pension from the city. Thank you.
Và đây là ông phóng viên Đoàn Trọng.
Kính thưa quý vị, hôm nay tôi đến đây với tư cách là một người có thể nói là sinh hoạt trong cộng đồng người Việt thành phố Westminster rất nhiều. Ngay cả ông thị trưởng, bà phó thị trưởng, ông tất cả các nghị viên ở ngay cả những người đều có mặt trong chương trình của chúng tôi. Cái nguyên do mà gây ra những cái vụ lộn xộn này, tôi nghĩ rằng cứ về ông luật sư của thành phố Westminster, ông hoàn toàn chịu trách nhiệm về tất cả những sự việc mà đã làm trong cái cơ độ ngoại của thành phố này. Vì trước tiên, gần đây chắc quý vị đã biết ngày 19 tháng 1 năm 1974, 75 chiến sĩ của Hải quân Việt Nam đã hy sinh tại Westminster. Ông luật sư của thành phố Westminster phải biết tất cả những cái gì liên quan đến được quyền hoặc không được quyền xây dựng ở tại cái tượng đài chiến sĩ. Trước khi quý vị bỏ phiếu, quý vị có tham khảo hay là không? Hay là quý vị không biết gì hết, quý vị bỏ phiếu bằng lòng hay không bằng lòng? Để rồi bây giờ sẽ đến một cái sự kiện Hội Cửu Long có thể thưa lại thành phố vì quý vị đã bỏ phiếu chấp thuận cho Hội Cửu Long được xây dựng cái tượng đài Hoàng Sa. Quý vị không có hiểu biết, quý vị không có nghiên cứu, để rồi quý vị bỏ phiếu và cái ông luật sư thành phố quý vị trả tiền để làm gì? Không có tham khảo tài liệu, không có tham khảo tất cả những chi tiết về miếng đất tượng đài chiến sĩ được quyền làm cái gì hay là không làm cái gì. Kính thưa quý vị, đã từ lâu ông luật sư, ngay cả vấn đề ông cảnh sát trưởng Thi Cơ, ông là người có mặt trên chương trình truyền hình với tôi, và ông thay việc đã nói rằng nếu tôi biết những sự việc như thế này tôi sẽ không làm những điều đó. Quý vị sợ ra tòa, quý vị sự ấy, quý vị bằng lòng nghe lời ông này, để rồi rút cuộc quý vị thấy ngày hôm nay quý vị phải đối diện với một vụ thân kiện của cảnh sát. Điều đó ai trả tiền? Kính thưa quý vị, những người dân của chúng tôi đến đây, và để rồi những cái bất đồng ý kiến chia rẽ lẫn nhau, bên này đã phá bên này, bên kia đã phá bên nọ, chỉ có một mục đích duy nhất là thành phố để tan rã. Quý vị với một người luật sư không hiểu cái gì hết, trước khi quý vị đưa ra bỏ biểu quyết để cho cái Hội Cửu Long xây dựng cái tượng đài, thì ông luật sư phải đọc cái điều lệ của cái miếng đất nó như thế nào, được quyền xây hay là không được quyền xây, để quý vị bỏ phiếu. Đến bây giờ quý vị bỏ phiếu, quý vị có đọc cái tham khảo cái tài liệu gì không? Để bây giờ Hội Cửu Long họ vận động biết bao nhiêu công của, bây giờ quý vị 5 người, rồi bây giờ có những cái phản ứng như vậy, thì quý vị nghĩ như thế nào? Một lần nữa, tôi nghĩ rằng thành phố này gần trên 100.000 dân, trong đó có hơn 50% là những người Mỹ công việc. Quý vị cần phải sửa chữa lại. Và tôi nghĩ rằng quý vị là những người muốn luật sư, trong hội luật sư thành phố đưa ra điều lệ cho quý vị làm việc. Quý vị là những người muốn luật sư làm việc cho quý vị. Tôi hỏi quý vị thành thật trả lời. Cái ngày quý vị bỏ phiếu cho cái vấn đề xây dựng tượng Hoàng Sa, ông luật sư có nói cho quý vị biết về điều gì, những cái điều lệ như thế nào không? Ông lãnh lương để làm cái gì? Ông lãnh lương để làm cái gì? Ngay cả vấn đề ông đã ký một cái gọi là resolution condemnation, tôi không biết là ông đúng hay sai, nhưng với cái luật pháp không có ai mà có thể nói tôi đại diện cho những người này, nhưng những người này họ không bằng lòng về cái vấn đề đó. Thì tất nhiên là quý vị thấy rằng ông luật sư này còn lên nói ông làm như vậy là đúng. Quý vị mướn một người mà không hiểu cái gì hết, ông cũng không biết học luật ở đâu, học ở đâu được. Ông có thể đại diện cho những người mà tôi đã hỏi ông Nguyễn Văn Trí và Kimberly Ho, ông Gerard và ông Tài Đỗ. Mọi người đều không biết gì về cái vấn đề này hết. Vậy mà ông luật sư cũng không có nói là còn bên vực mà còn biểu rằng điều này làm đúng. Ông không thể đại diện cho những người mà khi chưa được phép của họ. Một cái người có thể nói là ấu trĩ, học hành thấp nhất cũng hiểu được điều đó. Quý vị mướn một ông luật sư để ông luật sư không biết cái gì để cho cái thành phố thể tan hoang cái trận đó. Ngay bây giờ quý vị thấy, quý vị đã thường biết bao nhiêu tiền cho cảnh sát, thành phố đã biết bao nhiêu tiền cùng chỉ với một người luật sư. Ông luật sư đã nói thế là ông thạch trưởng đó, ông thay được việc. Quý vị nên hòa giải để làm gì? Để khỏi phải tốn tiền nhiều. Bây giờ quý vị thấy bao nhiêu người là cứ tiếp tục thưa thành phố. Trong ngày mai ông Castro, ông Contract cũng lại thưa thành phố vì những cái vấn đề mà ông ta không có bằng lòng chấp nhận ký vào cái đó. Nhưng bây giờ thì cô Thanh Vân vẫn sử dụng cái có tên của hai ông này đi rêu rao khắp mọi nơi. Cái thủ việc quý vị về tương lai của thành phố, tương lai của thành phố, và quý vị cần phải nghĩ về đến một trong những người mà gọi là ông luật sư của thành phố đã không làm tròn nhiệm vụ. Cảm ơn quý vị.
So the speakers have been involved with the community for a long time, and we just want to point out the responsibilities from the city attorney.
Các quý vị có thể thấy là khi mà ông Đoàn Trọng vừa mới phát biểu xong,
for memorial
Khi
wall
mà
for
ông
the
Đoàn Trọng vừa phát
community.
biểu xong thì
And,
ông Ngô Kỳ phản đối và
also
ông Đoàn Trọng
allows you,
excuse me,
former chief of
và
police,
ông Đoàn Trọng
and should those
đưa một
members
cái
of
ngón
party,
tay giữa, có nghĩa là
should
nói
should be allowed
là
to
đủ má
have
mày đó, với là fuck you đó.
such a memorial wall being built at that location.
Hình như là hai người
And he
rất là
also
ghét
said
nhau,
the
thưa quý
city
vị.
attorney should not allow the mayor to issue the resolution without the others council's knowledge. So please consider the city's future and for the city future and look at our city attorney. So that's right.
Và đây là ông này là người phát biểu cuối cùng của đêm nay, thưa quý vị.
Vice Mayor, members of the council, Mr. Jones, Mr. Mantle. I actually wasn't going to speak. I was just sitting here observing and listening at utter horror and how our city's being broken in half. But the minute an insinuation was made about possible racism being divided in our town, absolutely not. I have lived in this town since 1971. Since I was 6 years old. I can tell you right there on those pictures which mayors have been indicted by grand juries here in Orange County. Very sad. So we're not talking about racism. We're talking about common sense. This is what the people in this community want. We've seen enough black eyes, whatever they want to call it, I'm sorry, I'm from England. I only understand English and profanity, and I ain't going to use the latter. But to have this on our community at this point, in this stage of the game, is it's not really a game. It really isn't. And the people that love this town, like myself, we don't like it at all. And for once again, the insinuation of racism to be thrown down, no. Not in a town where Councilmember Contreras just brought two lovely gentlemen up here who made a lovely scene for that park. That's what our town is about, not this racial divide. And I'm not going to stand for that. And if anybody knows that I come to the council, I've had my differences, but I've always shown respect. Always. And that's what needs to happen, folks. A lot of my neighbors are Vietnamese. I get along wonderfully with them. Just like all of you. So please, when you get up here, if you're going to insult, throw racial division, please don't do it. If you think it, don't say it. Not in our town. We've had too many of those problems in the past. We want to bury those problems and not resurrect them. Not anymore. Not anymore. How do you think Sylvia Mendez and the Mendez family would feel about that? In a case that, when you bring the name up, and last week, folks, was just the anniversary of Brown versus the Board of Education. How many people know that case? Hardly anybody knows Mendez versus Westminster. That's something to be proud of, folks. I think. And pardon me, I'm a white guy. I was born in England. But I'll tell you what, I became a citizen. I love my country. I truly love my town. But I don't love what's going on. And I show respect to my council. And I'm truly sorry for any of the insinuations, the insults that have been thrown at me tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So, we don't have any other speakers, so I'd like to close oral communication. And first, I'd like to thank all the members from the committee who are here to raise either concerns or questions for us. I think your presence here today are really important to really show us that you really care for the city. Either you agree or disagree with everything we did. I really want to thank all the sacrifice, all the services, Vietnam war veterans and the South Vietnamese veterans during the Vietnam War. And there is a concern from one of the person came to speak about regarding the Freedom Park and monument. I truly believe that the city will own the park. However, I'd like to confirm with city attorney for that. The city will own the park, am I right? Okay. Thank you for that. So I really want to thank everyone for being here. Either you oppose or support with any member of the city council. I really want to thank you for coming here and speak your mind. I believe that you want to see the city council action on item 8.1. So I'd like to ask city council to move that item forward so we can have opportunity to discuss. So may I have a motion to move item 8.1 forward?
Motion to move 8.1 forward.
All right. Can I have a second? All right, we have a motion and a second to move item 8.1 forward. And the motion 8.1 is continue from the meeting April 24, 2019, conduct for elected and appointed official. And if you read about the staff report, there are 3 versions. So city council, we need to, I think we need to select either one of them. All right.
Mayor Todd, we still need a vote for moving the item.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Vote please.
That motion carried 401 with Councilmember Contreras absent. To vote for 8.1 at this time.
All right. So,
Mayor,
Councilmember Wayne?
yes. First of all, I would like to let make it clear that none of us here from this body have ever rejected or with the intention not to adopt the code of ethics. I want to make it clear to you, if you have any proof of any of these people here, unless I speak for myself, but I challenge you, if any of these people here have made any statement that they are not or I am not accepting the code of ethics, then prove it to us. That's number one. I want to reaffirm with you that I have never rejected it or have any intention of not adopting the code of ethics.
Ông nghị viên
What we did was
Charlie Chi Nguyễn
we
thì
saw a conflict of interest.
ông nói là ông chưa
We
bao giờ
asked
mà
to take it back,
từ chối.
take a look at that, and come back today to present it to you. It's very clear. Now, before I go deeper into my reasoning as what I'm about to do, I would like to share with you a couple of slides from the ethics training that I attended earlier this year. Please, would you please and I'm sure this is for sure a reminder for every one of us here at the theater. Slide number 1. Assembly Bill 1234, ethics training, is a state-mandated ethics training for local agency officials receive at least 2 hours of training every 2 years. And of course, if you are new, you must take the training in the first year. Second slide, please.
I would like to convey some of the golden rules that I have for the training to you. The public expects local officials to act ethically, whether or not doing so is required by law. Very clear. And what the quote that I like so much from President Thomas Jefferson said, when a man assumes a public trust, he should consider himself as a public property. And I would like to move to the next slide. This is another golden rule that we should take it to heart. These rules are minimum standard and universal ethical values such as trustworthiness, responsibility, loyalty, and fairness. Every elected official should take that to heart. And please remember this, because I will come back, okay? I'll read it again. Universal ethical values such as trustworthiness, responsibility, loyalty, and fairness. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, of course, there was much more detailed information that will cover.
Đây là ông nghị viên Charlie Chi Nguyễn đang nói về chuyện về ethicals.
There were state and federal laws governing that all of us here must follow. In short, ethics must come from you. And of course, everyone has the right of their opinions. You solely have the chance to voice your opinion. I reserve my right to my opinions, and therefore I vote for the one that I believe. I had a chance to review the three proposed options and found that the best choice is the option in the attachment 2, which came from a constituent that presented to us last May. And she was here this morning, she was here now, presented to us. That's the attachment number 2. I ask, would you please, Christine, can you put it up for me, please? The attachment number 2. That's right. So in short, it is short, it's crystal clear, it's straight to the point, as I outlined to you, for you in the slide number 3, which I pointed to you earlier. It's a training material, okay? This is training material. Trustworthiness, responsibility, loyalty, and fairness. Besides, it was already adopted by the neighboring city. It is definitely has been tested and applied by everyone there. So it's certainly a safe way to adopt it. With that said, I would like to make a motion to adopt the option in attachment 2 as Westminster City Code of Ethics.
From another commissioner.
Conflict of interest.
Yes, I'd like to speak one, please. For the sake of transparency, I would like to go over the timeline relating to, or shall I say, when the Code of Ethics was brought on the agenda. And that was February 27th. So on February 27th, I actually met with our clerk and went over the timeline, just so you understand why on the 24th of April I did what I did. So February 27th, the ethics item was brought on, and it was the very day that Mr. David Johnson gave to each person on the dais, each council member there, the proposal that he wanted to work on the Code of Ethics and he wanted to do so because he felt that he could be unbiased and he could work with everyone. And so on the 13th, shall I say, before we go to the 13th of March, that was the next meeting, I want to explain to you that on the 6th of March, Mr. David Johnson applied for the the Park and Rec Commission, and that was his application was March 6th. So when I appointed him February 27th, he was not a commissioner. So as I said, this is for transparency's sake, and I wanted to, so that you understand why and what happened, what sequence of events happened. So on the 13th of March, Mr. David Johnson was appointed as the commissioner of the Park and Rec by Councilman Tài Đỗ. So obviously, from the time he was appointed until the following meeting, there was already plans to work with Mr. Tài Đỗ, and then he was appointed to be the commissioner of Mr. Tài Đỗ. On March 27th, a month later, he brought the first draft for review. It was presented, but there was no discussion. Okay, so as you could see that from the time he applied for the Park and Rec Commission, and eventually became Mr. Councilman Tài Đỗ commissioner, 3 weeks passed. Okay. So on the 24th, which was the following meeting, the 24th of April, I proposed to take Mr. Johnson off the ethics code due to him showing bias with his personal attacks against the mayor, council member, and myself, and also due to conflict of interest because his very code of ethics was going to be applied to him since he became a commissioner. So then I asked the city attorney, we did not reject, and I agree with Councilman Chi Charlie Nguyen, that we at no point reject the code of ethics. We did not discuss, there was no discussion. On that date, April 24th, I asked the city attorney to work with the council members and the mayor, with the council members and mayors giving input. And that's what happened in the past. And today, we brought on the 3 versions. And today we are, for the first time, we're discussing the 3 versions and voting on it. So I just wanted, for transparency again, I want you to understand why and what happened. So please don't say that we rejected the ethics code. Okay? So in regards to today's agenda, 8.1, it is that we distinguish ethics. It is very important that we distinguish ethics from conduct. Mixing the two together runs the risk of confusing the public as rules that regulate the legality of what we do versus those that merely regulate the proper procedure of our meetings and interaction with staff. In matters of ethics, fortunately, we are not starting from a blank slate. We have many laws and regulations that are already on the books that define what we can and cannot do. Some of those laws include state law, the FPPC, the Brown Act, Robert's Rules, etc. I know that Mr. Tài Đỗ, when he first came on board, and that was like probably not the very first meeting, the first few meetings, he did apologize for unknowingly violating the Brown Act because he did not know what the Brown Act was. The rest of us, as elected officials, we are presumed to know all those laws. We are accountable to voters. We are bound by these laws. Our violations, even if inadvertent or out of ignorance, are subject to penalties. Therefore, we should undertake to create our own code of ethics only if we feel that there is a need to cover those conducts not already described in the law. Copying some of the provisions in the laws to craft our own code will almost by definition be incomplete. Therefore, the purpose for such an effort would simply be for political stunt. Before we go down this path or regulation already regulating such conduct, the Code of Ethics should be a set of principles and guidelines. It is not a law. It should be short, crisp, and general. It should give me the flexibility to do my job because I will not give up the right to represent my constituents. As to rules of conduct, this is simply a set of etiquette to regulate civil discourse by this body. We should not deceive voters that somehow being polite and orderly in our conduct rises to the level of transparency and ethics. Again, we should not allow political grandstanding be used to mislead the general public. The proposed so-called Code of Ethics introduced by Councilmember Tai Đỗ exemplifies what I said above. What does it mean to work for the common good of people? I don't need a Code of Ethics to tell me to comply with the law of the nation, the state of California, and the city. What does it mean to have my professional and personal conduct be above reproach? How I run my business and my life outside of my work with the city and staff is none of anyone's business. I'm not a 5-year-old. I don't need someone to tell me to respect the process. So now I would like to second the motion, the attachment 2 of 8.1.
All right, we have a motion second on the floor. Councilman Tai Đỗ.
I just want to remind the City Council of the reason I proposed the Code of Ethics because that was a direct response to the former Chief of Police, Kevin Baker lawsuit that's filed against the city, which was making allegations about the city council members and the mayors at that time was violating the code of conduct and ordered the city staff to do works for them directly. So I'm looking at the 3 codes of ethics right in front of me. With version 1, about 4 pages. That was featured a new version, and most of it, just like most of the common making a public comments, the conducts were removed from the original drafted version that was drafted by Mr. David Johnson and the city attorney. The version attachment number 2 is the Code of Ethics that model after Huntington Beach. Well, the thing is, we have to compare apple to apple, not apple to oranges. Huntington Beach doesn't have a population of about 50,000 Vietnamese people, and they do not suffer any facing any lawsuit in the past. Allegation of misconduct by the city council member toward city staff. And pretty much the first of attachment 1 and 2 is a gutted version and a strip of all the conduct from it and make it kind of worthless. Just remove all the important factor of how we hold our elected official accountable to the people and not for personal gain or interest. When I originally proposed a very simple code of conduct, the majority of the city council rejected by forming an ad hoc committee consisting of a resident and a city attorney. Well, initially it was, I think I remember correctly, Mayor Chita and Councilman Nguyen, but then Vice Mayor Ho changed their mind and then appointed Mr. Johnson and the city attorney. I have no answer. It didn't matter to me as long as one person is a resident of our city. After spending several weeks and days drafting the second set of code of ethics between the city attorney and Mr. Johnson, the majority of the council rejected again, and citing it was too long, complicated, and Mr. Johnson had conflict of interest because he served on the city commission. It was very apparent that by the irrational reaction of Vice Mayor Ho that she will have no intention to support any of the code of ethics. Well, Councilman Nguyen showed his colors last time as well. So tonight we have the new code of ethics that's removed 20+ provision of the draft, the one that drafted by Mr. Johnson and our city attorney, deputy district attorney, city attorney, Mr. Ben Hauser. So I'm going to read a few of these provisions so that you can see how unreasoned, unethical, and irrational it is to remove these. So number one, remove the entire section of the code of conduct. Well, if you remove this, then what is the version we are voting today? Should we call code whatever, code of misconduct? I just want to know to make sure that what we're going to vote on since we remove the code of conduct. Number two, to say that members shall perform their duties in accordance to the rules of order established by the city council. So if it is removed, what rules of order are we perform our duty under? I understand that the Robert's Rule of Order, is that correct? What's wrong with leaving it in there? If there's no rules of order, then do we get to say whatever we want at the city council meeting? Will our constituents be able to speak at any given time, shouting at us, interrupting us during our comments, speak for as long as they want? Can people bring a full choir and sing when we are conducting a council meeting? What about each other? Can we interrupt each other at any moment? Can we scream at each other? Take order at the meeting from the mayor and sit at any seat that we want? I just want to know what order are we going to follow since it is now removed from the original code of ethics. Number three, members should prepare themselves for public issues and focus on the business at hand. Prepare yourself for public issues. Does it mean that going forward, I don't need to read any agenda, any relevant material before the council meeting and vote on each particular item? Can I cast a vote based on how I feel that day? Instead of learning and understand the issue at hand before I vote? And focus on the business at hand. If you remove this, does that mean that going forward, we will not focus on the city business? We will focus on personal business. We will focus on people's business, community business. Again, code of conduct is very, very important. We need that. And number four, members should base their decision on merits and substance of the matter at hand. It's gone. So how should we base our decision on? If that's a merit and substance of that issue, then what? Based on what our dog was thinking, our political donors think, special interest, or based on what we can personally and financially gain to make our decision? Number five, members should base the decision on facts presented at the hearing and the law. If we do not base our decision on fact, what should we base on? We base on a decision on what special interest group have to say, or based on what we will gain personally and financially, which is illegal. Number six, no member should request or grant a special consideration, treatment, or advantage to any person beyond that which is available to every other citizen in similar circumstances or need. You take that out. So going forward, do we not treat everyone equally, regardless if they are a constituent, a voter, a resident, a political ally, a donor? Do we pick and choose who we favor or help based on how much money they give us, their ethnicity, gender, age, height, and how much money we will gain financially? So this is like, it is not what you know, but who you know. Is that a message we're sending out by taking this conduct out? And Mr. City Attorney, can we discriminate against people because of their gender, race, etc.? No. Thank you. This violates the code of ethics. This is basically violating the oath of office that I took. I remember when I sworn in. I sworn to protect the Constitution of the United States and the state of California. We cannot discriminate anyone based on their race, gender, and age, etc. For number 8, during public comment, I heard several people mention number 8. No member shall attempt to influence the hiring, rate of pay, or appointment of any relative by the city. No relative of a member shall be hired into the
Như quý vị đang
position
thấy là ông Tài Đỗ
unless
bắt đầu là
proper notification
có những phản ứng
has
nói
been
về
made
chuyện là
to
cái
ensure
Code of
all
Ethics
potential
nó
applicants receive an equal
đối
opportunity
với
for
cái hội
employment.
đồng
No relative of a member
hội
shall
đồng
be hired into
dân
the
cử của
position
Westminster là
where one relative
có
has
loại ra
sufficient
một số những cái
control
yếu
over
tố,
another.
cho nên là
We have a nepotism
ông nói là nếu như mà bỏ những cái mục đó đi thì nó đâu có còn cái gì là ý nghĩa nữa. Quý vị có thể thấy được là ông đang có vẻ rất là giận dữ khi nói về những cái chuyện này.
City Council member, number 9, City Council members shall not appear on behalf of a private interest of third party before the City Council or any other subservient body of the city. So all businesses who want special treatment from us, you should need to hire us and pay us extremely well so we can represent you. In the city of Garden Grove, Stanley, kind of Beach, Down Valley, even in front of the City Council. Is that a message we are sending out by removing this provision? Number 11. Members should encourage others to report unethical issue in a manner that can be both anonymous and unbiased. So the message is, if we don't report any unethical issue or matter, and if you do, we will punish you. Is that what we want people to know? Number 12, members should seek and ensure that individual they have designated to represent their interests during political campaign act within the ethical best practice. Well, if we don't want them to act ethically, then we are saying that we want them to act unethically, and you are free to be unethical and take advantage of others as city officials. Number 14, be prepared, punctual, and on topic. That's wrong. Why should we be prepared and be on time at the city council meeting? We can all show up at any time. And then, we might as well remove the quorum provision as well. Number 15, to be fair and equitable in allocating public hearing time. So going forward, we don't need to be fair and treat anybody equally. We or the resident can interrupt, scream, singing during the hearing. That's gone. Okay, this is my favorite right here. Treat all staff as professional. It's gone. So what does that mean? We don't have to treat the staff professionally. We can yell, scream, and throw things at them, harassing them, calling them at 1 o'clock in the morning. If not, then how are we supposed to treat city staff? Unprofessionally? What does that mean? Number 19, do not criticize an individual employee in public. Rather report concern to the city manager in a private corresponding conversation. So we just yell at a police officer who stopped our relative or friends on the street. We should interrupt.
It's gone. Number 20, do not get involved in administrative function. Members acting in their individual capacity should not attempt to influence city staff on the making of appointments, awarding a contract, selecting a consultant, processing development application, and granting of city licenses and permits. Well, former Chief of Police Kevin Baker made the allegation that our city council member has stopped him in the hallway and tried to tell him who should be promoted in the police department. City council member can call code enforcement or the police department to check or do bar check on each other, political enemy. Number 22, city council members should encourage commissioners to act independently and not threaten to remove them in situations where they disagree about an issue. I am not surprised. This is provisions gone. Number 23, be respectful of diverse opinion. It's gone. We take it out because we don't think that we should respect each other's opinions, especially those that are different from us, from ours. The reason that we want to establish a code of ethics, so that a comprehensive code of ethics, so that we can deal and respond directly to Chief Kevin Baker's lawsuit, and to prevent, to set a standard for elected officials to follow, to establish and restore trust, accountability, and transparency. And we're going to post this on the website in 3 languages: English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. And there's somebody, remember, doing public comment, say the code of ethics who surrendered the control of the city council authority to the city manager. Just wants the nonsense. The city council do not run the city. The city manager runs the city 24/7. Whether we adopt the code of ethics or not. After reading through these provisions that were taken out, and the original code of ethics, to me it's very simple, extremely well written, in very plain, simple English that anyone can understand. If someone was supposed to remove these provisions, it begs the question now. Number 1, is the person already violating these provisions? Is the person guilty of committing these violations in the past, today, or has an intention of doing it in the future? This is how we responded to Chief Kevin Baker's lawsuit, that the allegation was true and correct.
Hiện nay
All right. Any other input from anyone else? Or I call for question?
I have a little question. I noticed on the wall over there, on that wall, on the wall inside, in the entrance, there's maybe Tim can help me. What are those on the wall?
They're just some rules of conduct for the audience.
Who created them?
The city clerk put those together.
Why? Why were they created for the community?
They were originally done when we had the itemized different sanctuary city.
Okay. But why did we create them though? Why are they there and why are they posted?
We're trying to maintain decorum in the council meetings there.
They were created to create decorum in the council chambers so that the council can conduct business. So I guess I'm just a little confused because why is it that the residents have a code of conduct?
Ông nghị viên Contrast đang hỏi là tại sao lại thành phố lại có những cái những cái như vậy mà dán trên tường, thưa quý vị.
I'm just an observer and now a participant. I've had the opportunity to listen to both sides on the matter. I know tonight a lot of people are passionate about a code of ethics, passionate about a code of conduct. They're very passionate about their city and the future of the city and how we conduct business with one another and for the city and on behalf of the city. And so I'm still in disagreement from the last meeting that we had, where time was spent to create a very thorough code of ethics and code of conduct by a resident that was selected by the council and directed by the council to create something for us to approve. So, but I just like some clarification. When that person was selected, they were not a commissioner, from what I remember. Then when they submitted the work, they were still not a commissioner. And then when they were selected to be a commissioner, can you walk us through the process of selection for a commissioner and how they're actually appointed to be a commissioner? Because I just wanted to clarify. So I guess my question back to the city manager would be, how is someone appointed to be a commissioner on this council?
They're moved by a member of the council and voted on.
Okay, moved by a member of the council and voted on by who?
The council.
The city council. So how many votes would this person need to have before they're appointed to be in that position?
The majority of the council, so 3.
3. Thank you. So when he was appointed, did he only get 3 votes, or did he get all 5 votes from the majority of the council? Does anybody remember when he was appointed? Was he appointed by the simple majority or by the majority?
City clerk says unanimous.
It was a unanimous appointment to the commission. So this council unanimously appointed that commissioner that we previously appointed to create this code of ethics. So again, I fail to understand the reasoning behind the perception of what you would call, conflict of interest. I'm just confused. So to clarify a little more, and city manager, I know you and I are going to be really good friends tonight, so I'm going to ask you some questions. Does this code of ethics only apply to council members, or does it apply to any appointed position?
Honestly, I'd have to go back and read through and word by word answer that. I assume it applies to council and commissions.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, I'm just trying to get, again, this reasoning behind the conflict. I do think we do need a code of ethics. I do believe that if the residents have a code of conduct, then we as a council should also have a code of conduct. I think that there's been a number of times where I know sometimes all of us, and I'm guilty, I have my moments when I get a little passionate and I talk over people sometimes, and people talk over me, which is okay, it doesn't get caught up. But I think sometimes, like residents, when they come into the room, I don't know, what is the first rule that we have on that listed on there?
Treat others courteously.
Treat others what, I'm sorry?
Courteously.
Courtesy, yeah. So, as a resident, I'm sure they come to the chamber, I don't think they're coming in here ready to mistreat people. I don't think people come with that intention, but we listed it as a code of conduct or a rule for us in order for us to conduct business. So, I know some of the things that are listed that are on this code of conduct that was created by the attorney earlier, has some of the rules for us that I guess would seem as common sense, but sometimes we forget. I know sometimes when I'm in a restaurant, I'm leaving, at the right of the restroom, there's a sign that says, "Please wash your hands." Sometimes, some of us are in a hurry, and we kind of like start rushing out the door, and we see the sign, like, oh yeah, let's make sure we wash our hands.
So I think this is the reason, I mean, I'm just gonna kind of bring it down for me in terms of my understanding, that the code of conduct that was created previously wasn't, in my opinion, created to wreak havoc within the council or cause additional problems or cause us to do otherwise. I just think that the intent was for us to at least have some written direction that we will, at least in our way, behave in a respectful manner and of ethics and conduct each other with respect and trust or trust each other. So with that said, I'd like to see if there's a possibility this council would consider a substitute motion to look at including a code of conduct along with our code of ethics, simply because, again, if the residents have a code of conduct, it's really unfair, I think unethical, for us not to have our own code of conduct, because it just doesn't make sense. So again, I'm not gonna pick and choose which ones we should do it right now. I think if it's okay for the council that we could take this back and maybe look or vote on the ones that are on this previous list and select the ones that we think are most important. In all fairness, again, I'm not taking anyone's side. I just think that if the residents of Westminster have a code of conduct that's listed on the wall, on each of our walls, and they see when they walk in, it's only fair that we as council members have our own code of conduct. So my substitute motion is to take back our current code of ethics and look at ways to include a code of conduct to accompany it so that it is fair for all of us, not just residents are required to abide by their own, or our own makeshift code of conduct for our meetings.
I'll second that.
Before we vote, I do have a few things I want to talk. First of all, Councilmember Contreras, how long have you been sitting on this? Yes.
Sir, if you'd like to know that, that would be almost 7 years I've been on
Thank
this
you very
item.
much.
Served in the city of Westminster.
Thank you very much.
I also served as a school board member for 8 years, so
Right.
almost 17 years in office, representing the residents of Westminster. Yes.
You answered the question, okay? Secondly, let me ask as city clerk, go ahead and put that picture up for me, please. The slide I showed you earlier, I have not get a chance to go through it. Now, this is the time. You see that picture right there on the right? What did it say on the door?
It's a standard trash.
Okay, a career in politics, and you got before you step, when you enter a career in politics, ethics, right there, ethics is the first thing you consider. It is given. Okay? Now, let me.
It's a trash can.
Let me
It shows
show
ethics.
that's not a trash can.
That's what that
Now,
is.
let me tell you. Councilmember Dole. Where's your common sense? What you just said is common sense. It's already established by AB 1234. Now you are repeating it, which is unnecessary. Secondly, on the day, February 28th, when you present this code of ethics, you don't have anything for us. And creating an ad hoc committee doesn't mean that we are rejecting it. You go out there and tell people that we are the board, the body, this body here, rejecting it, and you just said it again. Why are you saying that? I challenge you to prove it to me that when we said that, okay? Let me tell you.
What was the question again? Can
Now,
you respond to your question, sir?
the question I challenge you, prove it to me, or prove it to the people here, that when we rejected it, have we ever said that we rejected it? We asked for the ad hoc committee. You said right here, we rejected it by creating ad hoc committee. Creating ad hoc committee doesn't mean that we are rejecting it. We have people working on that. In fact, we actually appoint your people. Okay? Why does it want your people? On 24th, We appointed Dave Johnson to work on it. The next meeting, you appoint Dave Johnson while we have not is to review it. Okay? So that process is still there. It's not done yet. All right? I haven't done yet. I have to wait for you to say it. Now, it's my turn. I haven't done yet. Now, I know that in the West, at the last meeting, she present whatever you present, the last meeting. Now, hold on. And you go over it today. Let me ask you a question. What the thing that you present? What does it call? What's the name for it?
The Code of Ethics.
Sure. That's the Code of Ethics, and it's already adopted by the neighboring city, which is City of Huntington Beach. And you call that is nonsense? I'm sorry. You can go back and talk to the City of Huntington Beach, that you can tell them that that's not the Code of Ethics. We are adopting the same thing. And let me remind you that the option that we are choosing today, that I make a motion in, is not developed by us, it's developed by our CE marriage attorney. So what's wrong with it?
If you can respond.
Go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, rejecting initially, Vice Mayor Kimberly Ho mentioned that she's not accepting it because conflict of interest, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, we can review the video. And I think you voted for, Council Member Nguyen, you voted for Mr. David Johnson to lead on the commission with the Deputy City Attorney to work on the draft of the Code of Ethics, is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And if I understand correctly, sir, Mr. Deputy City Attorney, the two additional code of ethics that we have on file right here, right in front of attachment 1 and 2, I remember I received a phone call from you, is that correct? Asking me what do I want in the code of ethics after the last meeting, I think that's April or something. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, my intent was to just receive input, and I did not share anything about any other council members, but just to receive input.
Oh, okay. Do you remember, okay, so you asked, if I remember correctly, you asked me what I wanted taken out or add into the particular draft of code of ethics, is that correct? Is that something that we can share, or is
No, yeah, anything that we discussed there. Basically, I just asked generally, did you have any comments or anything you wanted to see with respect to, so I can take that into consideration in trying to draft something, because it was kind of a difficult assignment that I was supposed to prepare something that the whole entire council would agree with, and I couldn't share what everybody else was saying, so I just wanted to receive input from you.
Okay, so is that a fair statement for you to say that the two new attachments were basically a products of what you input, for lack of a better word, input from the resident city council?
Primarily, it was just something that I put together in conjunction with another person in my office, for the most part. At the last council meeting when we had the discussion, there were some comments made that generally said they thought it was too long, the conduct section wasn't necessary, it made it too difficult to read, nobody would read through 14 pages, that the ethics should be shorter. And so I kind of took that in mind, and I did a draft that was just trying to focus more on the ethics, which essentially consolidated those down into a couple pages. That was my first thing. And then to try and maybe incorporate some of the thoughts that were made at the last council meeting, primarily. One of those being that we wanted to be clear that it was okay to communicate with staff, but not provide direction. That was one of the things that was discussed. One of the other things that was discussed was trying to make it clear that it was good to communicate with the city attorney when you have a question about where you might have a conflict of interest or a legal issue. So I made sure that was incorporated. But by and large, I pretty much did it with not too much council input.
Not too much?
Yeah, because for the most part, I think they pretty much deferred to me. I think, except on those 2 points, those are the ones, the major ones that there was input on.
One more question, and then I'll let you go. Is there any possibility that, you know, adopting or not adopting this code of ethics that will, the city council will lose control over the city? To the city manager, like the allegation of some of the comment we make during the public comments?
Well, I think anytime, I think that's a difficult question. I think it depends on what the rule says. These are intended to be general guidelines, ethical principles. Let's rephrase that real quick. Okay, so basically, the allegation is if the city council adopt this code of ethics, that will tie the hands of the city council from officially running the city. Again, it depends on which policy you adopt, but
You know what I mean? That's, the city council cannot direct staff doing work for them directly.
no, and that's pretty clear in all, I think, all the policies.
All the policy across the United States, pretty much that the elected official is not to direct the staff to do work for them.
It's
Is that
in the
correct?
municipal code that the city manager is the one to direct staff.
Okay, so it is in the municipal code specifically that the city manager, he's the one running the city. Is that correct?
I think it's important to note that the code of ethics, whenever you adopt, is a policy stated by the council. We are still governed by law, and our municipal code and state law does dictate certain things that you still have to comply with, regardless of whether you have or don't have a policy statement regarding things.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right, Councilmember Nguyen, you want to say something? Are you done? Vice Mayor, are you done?
Can I just re-clarify my motion, Rick? That's a motion?
Okay,
So my substitute motion again is for us to just continue the item so that we have time to include code of conduct.
All right, so we have.
Because, I'm not done, sorry. Just because I just think that, again, it's not fair that the residents have a code of conduct when they come to a meeting and we don't. If that's the case, then I think, if we're not gonna include a code of conduct, then I think we should take those down so that they're not required to do things that we are not required to do the same.
So if I can clarify, of the three versions, the original version drafted by Christian and Mr. Johnson, unless I'm mistaken, I believe does include both the code of ethics and essentially a code of conduct. So you could recommend just adopting the original version, but I don't know if that's really what you're recommending.
Well, let me, that would be too cut a process here, but the motion on the floor was to adopt state attachment number 2. Mr. Contreras' motion, given that motion, is to add to the motion to adopt and attachment to add a code of conduct and continue the matter. So if the motion had been to adopt attachment 3, his motion would not be necessary. Under the circumstances, it's an appropriate motion.
Okay.
So basically, we have a substitute motion on the floor, and, I agree with City Attorney, whatever version that we have adopted tonight, all of us, we need to follow the state and federal law, because when we take our office, that we swear and we make our pledge that we need to follow the state and federal law. So regardless of what version that we would adopt tonight, I believe that there's nowhere that we add something, we do something beyond the state and federal law. So, but right now we have this substitute motion and by Councilman Contreras and second by Councilman Doe. So,
The motion is to continue and to bring back the code of ethics, code of conduct.
I don't know what the attorney's timeline is, and I don't know how much involvement, how much time council needs for input. So how much time did you need last time around to craft your first initial draft of the code of ethics?
I think we had at least 4 weeks to do that. We're not assuming you do not.
If it passes, I don't know if it is.
We need to come back in 4 weeks. Because we're going to be potentially dark for the second meeting in June, so the most appropriate time is probably the first meeting.
All right?
So, just again, to clarify, is the motion to come back with a whole new document, or to come back with essentially attachment number 2 with an additional code of conduct included?
Let me make a suggestion. This is because I made the motion on the floor to continue bringing the code of conduct back to the first meeting in July. If that passes, then we'll come back and ask Mr. Contreras and council to further clarify that, should we do that direction. Let's see if it passes first amendment clarification.
All right, so we have a citizen motion on the floor. It's time for me to call the question.
So we vote on substitute motion first, right?
Yes, substitute motion.
We're voting on motion to continue and bring back the code of conduct.
All right, substitute motion.
First reading.
All right, let's vote.
That motion failed 2-3.
That was on the floor as the.
All right, so now we have original motion on the floor.
To adopt.
Yeah.
Brought to you by another commission.
Sorry.
All right, so now we have the motion on the floor.
I'm sorry.
So please.
You lost.
No, we all lost.
You're an apple. You lost. You lost. Giờ đó thầy để đề nghị giúp những năm thua.
All right, the motion on the floor, the motion is to adopt version number 2.
Quý vị có thể thấy một cái sau khi mà cái dự luật về Code of Ethics không có được thông qua thì ông Kỳ rất là thích thú và chọc những cái người ủng hộ dự luật là lost.
We require Westminster
Là bạn đã
residents
thua rồi.
to follow a code of conduct, but yet we should not have one or should abide by one. I don't think that's fair. I don't think we're asking for. I don't think the residents are asking for much by trying to include a code of conduct. It's unfortunate. I really wish we could include one. So I just, again, I don't know if it's a separate item that I need to bring forward, that I bring an item that we create a code of conduct. So I'm not, would that be possible, something I could do? Okay, so if I want to create, next meeting, bring a code of conduct, I think for the company.
Well, let me add that, you know, we initially, when Councilman Tài Đỗ proposed it, it's a code of ethics, no code of conduct, okay? So that's why I vote for the code of ethics.
All right, so we have the motion and the second on the floor. I think we have to vote for it, and we are voting to adopt version number 2. Still code of ethics.
Could this come back and include a code of conduct?
That was not in the motion.
That was not in the
motion.
Second action.
Right. So,
That motion carried 3-0-2 with council members Contreras and Doe abstaining. And that was to adopt attachment number 2's version.
all right.
And just for the record, I'd like to note the reason for my abstention is because it did not include a code of conduct.
It wasn't asked for beginning.
And again, I hope that we can take those down from their walls, that residents are unfairly required to follow this code of conduct, but yet we don't have one in our own policy.
I totally agree with that. I mean, we expect everybody to have a code of conduct, but we, the elected official, is above the law. We don't have to follow any code of conduct. This is one issue. Just sad day.
All right, so our next item, we have consent calendar, or may not listen to the consent calendar. I can see the routine and may be approved by single motion, followed by roll call. There will be no.
Thưa quý vị, vậy là cái buổi họp hôm nay đã được chấm dứt với là cái phần là cái Code of Conduct là cái bộ quy tắc ứng xử của thành phố, dành cho các nghị viên thành phố là không có được thông qua, vẫn là cái tỷ lệ phiếu là 3/2 thưa quý vị. Một lần nữa, Nam Quang, tường thuật cho Trust Media Network. Thank you. Cảm ơn quý vị. Chúc quý vị ngủ ngon.
Make sure that we live like we are, and how we